All right, guys, I said we'd be fast. We have been, and we're going to turn the heat up as always. And that is not because our next two teams are well within the top 10 rankings. It's because we've got Thorin with us now.
Right. Well, I saw the kids were kind of playing a little bit before. A little bit tame, I have to say. So Daddy's home.
Daddy's home. I appreciate you staying between us. Like, this is like...
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, it's the other way around. He's actually... I set this up. He's the first line of defense.
Yeah, for me.
I basically bait him. He gets wrecked by you, and then I trade him. So I'm happy in this equation. You know?
All right, that's fine. As long as my kill ratio stays like 1-to-1 that way, right? So it's good. I'm doing all right. I'm doing better than NACS players, if that's the case.
In what way?
That I'm actually getting kills here? I'm actually wrecking someone?
Okay, this is getting pretty tenuous now.
I remember when NACS players used to play at tournaments like this. Nowadays, Chinese players, of course.
Of course.
China very much the world power. It's like in geopolitics, actually, there. One of my favorite topics.
Well,
let's get... it's a strong start, Thorin. Let's keep it up.
Absolutely.
We knew it was going to get turned up eventually. G2 versus Luminosity. Now, this is kind of an interesting one. Luminosity had an incredible... I don't know if you want to call it a honeymoon period, but a really good run at DreamHack Winter. It was a little bit unexpected. Lost 16-0 in the first game after bringing in 2 new players. G2, on the other hand, had an amazing Cluj Napoca, where they, everyone on that team, where they're not so much tacticians, they're not so much in-game leaders, all played out of their minds. They were all awesome in that event. Where are we now, though? Because G2 since, and they've removed themselves. They haven't played as many offline tournaments. And the Christmas holidays
it's a different lineup as well, right?
The different lineup. AZ, you'd think with this much time that he'd be in the lineup, but the results as of late have been terrible.
We get to the point now of no excuses. Like, obviously, like Luminosity went to that event, 2 new players, and they have that amazing run. They get so deep in the tournament. G2 with AZ coming into it, like, they've had some decent games, but I think we haven't seen what this lineup's capable of. Like, technically, I'd say AZ's one of the best fraggers in the game right now. He should be coming into this lineup and like actually raising their level. Like, he's definitely on par with Dennis in that sort of equation in terms of raw skill. So I'm really hoping this tournament is kind of like their swan song. They can kind of show you we have been putting in the hard work. They had some dodgy online results recently, but I don't really talk about online CS that much. I really want to see what they can bring to this event. I think this is a really good test for them. Luminosity is a good start. And for me, it's more like what can G2 do? Like we kind of heavily favour Luminosity going into this one, right?
It does feel like the hype that was at the major with G2 has disappeared. I mean, first of all, unfortunately, because you never got to see the same lineup play again, we wanted to see would they replicate that, you know. I mean, if you remember the original lineup of that IEM San Jose was going to be Envious and it was going to be Virtus Pro playing G2 in the first, and it never happened. The teams dispersed. With that said, when they brought in AZ, they did have a good run at IEM San Jose. I mean, they made it to play against TSM. They took TSM to 3 maps. So they were still good. With that said, though, that was like the TSM that was a little bit on tilt at that time and maybe wasn't in like absolute peak form.
Sure.
So, yeah, I kind of feel like at the moment, and actually, this is the team I'm less certain about in terms of them, because at least I've seen Luminosity play a couple of tournaments. Yeah, they had one that was fantastic, one that was a bit more coming back down to earth, but I've seen them play recently, and crucially, I've seen Luminosity play the best teams recently. I've only really seen G2 play against, obviously, TSM. Otherwise, they played against CLG in the first round there. So the new G2, it's very much uncertain factor, actually. That's what's funny. They're the team that made the lineup change previously, but I think they're the ones that have the most question marks around them.
Absolutely, and also I'm coming back with this in-game leader problems that you were talking, Henry, about AZ should be like in the team now, organized, knowing how to utilize his skill. But this is also, in my perspective, a task for a leader to know how to use the players, to know how to organize the tactics, because you know this guy, skill, first frag, entry frag, this guy is clever, clutching, etc. They lack that kind of in-game mastermind at the moment, so they say.
It's Rain doing it right now.
Yeah,
right? He's
actually
actually said on an interview, I think we actually interviewed him, it was like saying he's just doing it because he feels like he's the only one who can actually step up and do it right now. I think when they lost Dennis, that actually hurt them quite a lot. Like he's known to have that kind of in-game leader background, and he can, although not necessarily lead them, he can at least feed in ideas and like kind of call what's to be coming. And just to make the point again, like Kingwin, when they were actually had like Legia behind them, they were the ones saying, oh, this in-game leader, having as the coach, this is the future, this is what we should be doing.
Really.
What happened to that? Where's that gone?
Well, and if you remember, afterwards they tried it with another guy. I forget what his alias was. So that's a worrying sign in itself there, because it shows that they kind of were looking like there's no one in this team can do it. Let's get someone out. And now they have no choice. It has to be someone in game.
Within the last hour, I saw a post on Reddit as well that looks new, and I haven't validated it or verified it yet, but it looks like they've also dropped their manager recently.
I hope they haven't, and someone just posted that on Reddit. And
it could be true, and suddenly
he's literally just watching this now like, guys, really? And that's like,
yeah, but changes are being made. The thing with G2 that I was kind of scared of is that they were the modern LGB, that they had an incredible major, they've got so much skill, and then they're going to get torn apart by other we already saw Dennis, as if he's going to say no to Fnatic. It's 2 teammates he used to play with. It's the best team in the world. You're not. Doesn't matter how good G2 plays. you know that that's
Here's the thing. I think that could have happened. Because you think about it, okay, Dennis to Fnatic, that was already going to be said. Like you said, if he got the call, he'd even said famously that that's one of the teams he would have to say yes to. In the past, he said NiP, but Fnatic obviously modern day with ex-teammates. But if you think about it, if Dennis goes, well, then what happens then if NiP goes, hey, we do want to make a couple of changes. You know what? Hey, Rain, come on over. We'll take Makalele back. Then all of a sudden, if it's already torn apart the lineup apart, now Cloud9 needs to play. They really could have seen the whole lineup get torn apart.
Well, to be fair, Makalele apparently did say on a stream the other day that he got offered by NiP, doesn't want to go back there.
He also said that they'd never remove Wheaton from the team, and that they'd also never recruit Dennis. So he's got a good track record.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good point.
I get all my information about Makalele from a Russian source that I have actually out there on the internet. So.
This is
information.
To further the point, though, Scream also left to go back to the French scene, go on to Titan, as you well know. I'm sorry, but
Inside jokes.
It just seems like an AZ. This is another thing. He's coming in. We're gonna get to the veto in a second because they've got. I think it's ready to go. They brought it up for a second there. AZ came in. First off, where did that skill level that he hit at the end of his Dignitas run come from?
I have no idea.
TSM, we're talking about maybe this is the guy you bring in. But there was
here's
never
the thing.
a justification.
It was going to happen, and what happened was they couldn't buy the contract out. Like that's what's crazy about that whole situation is the deal was done behind the scenes. Zipnix was out, in comes AZ, and then actually what's crazy, it ended up helping both players because AZ went crazy after that.
Yep.
And then Zipnix obviously was fantastic for the next couple of months.
He's like one of the most solid players, like in terms of the role he's playing. Like Zipnix has stepped up so much. It's like crazy how strong he's become in that role, and he's actually like one of the most stable and reliable support players I'd say in the game right now. So that's actually very true. They've actually both teams have benefited.
But I kind of agree with what you said though. It's not like this idea that I always knew AZ was sick. He really did step it up the last couple of months because when he was in Dignitas before, it was like the Pimp and AZ show, but he wasn't always carrying in all the big games. You know, he'd have just an okay game. And then, sadly, it's when Dignitas hit rock bottom. Like, they lost in 2 maps at the Major. They lost, actually, quite embarrassingly to Conquest at CEVO. But AZ was still going crazy. At that CEVO tournament, he had one of the rounds, one of the best rounds I've ever seen. The game against Virtus Pro on Inferno, where he had the 4 Deagle kills in the cut. That's just one of the best rounds you'll ever see in Counter-Strike. So we know he's an incredibly skilled player. But he has to find his role in this new team. Because when you're in the bad team, obviously, you can kind of have free rein to do what you want.
Let's take a look at this now. We discussed it a little bit as well, Duncan, when you were in here, that it's ban. I'll do it from both sides.
It's all 4 bans,
right,
basically.
4 bans, 2 picks, whatever's left over. So it's the old system.
But here's the good thing about that. Normally, like you saw before, it means if you have a team that has a deep map pool like Na'Vi, you're going to get a mismatch because they can just ban out all the Chinese teams. This time we've got a good scenario because they share some maps, some overlaps. So you'll think that they'll want to play those maps. So I'm expecting both teams like Cash, they'll be willing to play that. Maybe we'll see Mirage in there. Train, I think, is the third one we could potentially have. So the obvious bans to me is I expect we will not be seeing Cobblestone. I don't think, in general, we'll probably see something like Dust 2.
Well,
I think these are 2 that we possibly will get.
We've got it right here. So Dust 2 actually disappeared first from Luminosity's side. Overpass was gone from G2. Cash, Cobble, respectively, after that. We did get Train, Inferno, and Mirage. Those are 3 execution-based maps.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting
styles.
that Luminosity have got rid of Dust 2 and Cash. I'd say the heaviest deathmatch style maps, like the loosest you can possibly be. That's a really smart move, I would say, in terms of Luminosity. Like we said, they've got a kind of similar play style to Navi in that respect. They can play very slowly and slow things down. So G2 are probably a little bit worried they can't actually utilize the fraggers as heavily.
Yeah, my initial thoughts looking at that map pool is that heavily favors Luminosity. We know they're crazy on Mirage. That was the first map we were ever introduced to them as Kaboom on X Games. Almost a year ago now. That's crazy. And Inferno, their 3B Molotov strat catches so many teams off guard. You go back to the first ESEA Pro League, they beat TSM in a best of 1. They've upset Fnatic on that map in a best of 1. I mean, this is a wicked map pool for them.
Do we know the order of the maps? Do we know which map is first?
It was out of order last time, so I can't quote on that. Last time we thought Train was going to be first, it was Mirage.
You're out of order. You're out of order.
I'm assuming if it's according to the graphic, then we'll see Train first. But last time it was the opposite way around at the top, so don't quote me on that.
That thing is though, the pool itself is good for both teams. That's what I like about it because, like I said, you have the worry when you have all the bans that everyone's just going to take out everyone else's good map, and you get kind of like he said before, like a best of the worst basically. Like whatever's left, you're just hoping that they can piece something together. In theory, these teams are competent on all 3 of these maps. So in that scenario, I don't even think that recent form comes into it as much as who's going to be good at this tournament now. Like, we know G2, I mean, listen, G2 have a more skilled lineup, but Luminosity looked fantastic when they were at the Face It tournament. So if they come in that sort of form, I mean, I'd favour them over the new G2.
One key thing that comes into mind with that one, when they're at those tournaments before and they had this new lineup, obviously they're the anomaly of that event. No one's really had the time to assess their demos and kind of watch things there. It's kind of like when Envious first came with that new lineup and like Cloud9 had that amazing run. No one really had the intel on them. So it was a fresh lineup. You didn't have the demos available. Obviously, this matchup and this fixture has been known for a few days now. So hopefully G2 have had time to go and watch these demos. They know how the new players like Taco, for example, will approach certain situations. So hopefully, I think Luminosity aren't going to have such free reign they did at previous tournaments before.
Call me crazy, but who on G2 do you picture sitting down to watch demos? Is that a rain job?
You have to these days. You can't just not do it.
No, but this is actually the point. The question is, did G2 actually really put a lot of work into preparing this tournament? Because theoretically they've been offline. I mean, they're out of the tournaments for a long, long time, so they should have had time to prepare. If so, they did. They might be able to surprise Luminosity, but just as it stays now, I would just favor Luminosity.
See, you haven't thought it through, Sadikis. Maybe Rain doesn't have to watch all the games because the Rain man just remembers every game he's ever watched. I'm a fantastic driver.
Yeah. we had a
reference game, incredibly.
I'm you Brits, when you guys get together, I just get lost every time. Like, it's crazy.
No, here's the dynamic I see for this match. Is like we've discussed before, we don't really know what the leadership situation is like, whether it's like a makeshift scenario where someone has to do it. So for me, G2 have the skill. They have the fantastic gamers at almost every position, almost. And if you look over on the Luminosity side, though, okay, it's true they're a newer lineup. We don't really still know what their identity is. But one thing we know about this team is they are so good when they're in terms of playing efficiently. Like, if they get a kill up on you, or they get like a site taken, they play them so smart. The way they execute the rest of the round, I think they're the smartest team at the moment in the game. So I favour when I have to put those two things against each other, mad fragging against like intelligence. Yeah, I kind of edge it towards the team that like the system's better. So I'm feeling with the map pool, I'm thinking Luminosity can win this.
This is where I was going to shift to now as well. Is let's focus on Luminosity a little bit, because obviously that roster change we've seen a little bit, like again the high and then the back to reality. I think Fallen, the way that he's handled just these roster changes, his ability to kind of be the godfather of the Brazilian scene right now, he's making everything happen. I think he's got to be credited as one of the best in-game leaders, hands down right now.
Well, when he makes you an offer you can't refuse, you've got to do what he says.
I think it's like more to the fact he's one of the best captains as well, not even necessarily the in-game leader. He seems like, you can see on your screen right now, he's holding those guys together. All these kids look up to him. There were two players we'd never even heard of before, like jumping into this team, turned up the first day, you get on 16-0. And it looks like we're kind of getting ready to
No, I was just going to say the other aspect as well that we need to talk about is they have a guy, not to confuse it with Navi, Zeus, spelled with a W, is their new coach as well, who comes over from the Gamers Academy system. 3 of the players formerly played under him, so they've got 2 leaders now that can kind of jump.
I mean, believe it or not, that wouldn't confuse me because, again, he's Brazilian and also he's not playing a Navi and he's the coach.
Listen,
so,
I'm just making it clear.
I know when names are similar, like you still think
we've got guys like Henry here who are more simple. It wasn't catered toward. It was making sure Henry could follow. All right.
See, I feel like you might join Team Liquid because you're pretty simple.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking I could be the greatest
Don't work
coach
well
ever.
with people around you.
Yeah, no, never. Why would I? Me and Simple would be the best teammates ever. You're right.
I like what you're using
what would happen is between the two of you, you'd average 30 frags a game. He'd get 29 and you'd get 1.
Exactly. And I'd still be doing better than Bardolph, so it's all right.
You know.
He's coming over. I'm in trouble now. I've got death on both sides of me. Either way, guys, let's get serious though. What do we really think about? Look, we've seen a lot from FNX, but Taco's been lagging behind a little bit. How do they try and average out the system? Who plays into the support role now? Who accepts? Fur, for example, he was the top guy.
He's the guy that worries me more than that.
He's kind of had to step back a little bit.
Like Taco, I can almost give him like a break when they don't do well because they can win without him doing well. But the idea that Fur was the best player before on the team, and now he seems to have struggled to find his place since they brought in Cold Zero. So I know what I'm going to get from Cold Zero. Kind of know roughly where FNX and Fallen are going to be. Fur's the swing guy, where if he can find his position, if he has developed, that will then make them also a very skilled team as well, because we know he used to be capable.
Yeah, I used to say even before the FNX and Taco, if Fur, Fallen, and Cold showed up, that was enough alone. Now they've got FNX there and Taco potentially support.
But actually, FNX had a really good showing when he got in the team. We saw him clutching many rounds, many important rounds. So I think he integrated extremely quickly in the team.
Yeah, well, let's do predictions because apparently we're ready to go. We'll start on the end as always. Duncan, we're 100% so far this year, so...
Obviously, I want to see what kind of Luminosity turn up. We've seen them get 16-0 at the beginning of tournaments before. It's the first day. Could be a little bit of a slow start. I'm going to say 2-1 in favour of Luminosity, just because they probably lose the first map, and then once they warm up, maybe get into it. It's difficult to tell with G2. both unknown quantities here, but I'm going to say 2-1 Luminosity, and we'll stick with that. I think that's
Sure,
gonna be a solid-
Duncan.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Luminosity. I'm thinking the map that G2 should get will actually be Train. I think that's the one that I feel like it's going to go to them. I think Inferno can be the Luminosity side, and then Mirage is the classic Luminosity map. They are very good on that, so I think they'll get it 2-1. But I think it can be close because we know the fragging power on the side of G2.
Sure, Maniac.
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
quickly.
It's going to be probably a closer match than what we've seen, which is kind of easy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 for Luminosity as well. And I think that G2 has a chance actually on Inferno. I don't see them winning on Train. But anyway, 2-1 Luminosity.
The weird thing is I see Mirage.
It's also worth
as
pointing out, by
G2's
the way, we
best,
didn't
which
say
is
this,
odd.
but remember, Makalele only arrived today as well.
Literally
I mean,
just
you can't
showed up.
really take that into the game, because for all we know, he's a fantastic player, could still turn up, but
On the other
maybe that
side-
can play a factor, though.
On the other side, Luminosity came all the way from Brazil, where they just finished the Max 5 tournament. So there's a bit of it from both ways. Either way, we're ready to go. We're going to jump down to the casters. My prediction, because we're putting me on the spot, I'm going to say 2-1 as well, but I'm going to switch it up and actually say that it's Inferno that gets stolen from Luminosity for no reason at all, because I really like them on that. I just got to go with gut feelings here. But either way, we're going to send it over to Anders and Semler to bring you this incredible matchup.
Thank you very much from the desk there. And yeah, Semler, we're back in action. And you're a little bit out of the camera almost there.
Yeah,
Maybe I am.
was.
I don't know.
Are you?
We'll,
Should
we'll
seek balance.
No, we'll
Anders?
fix it later.
You
It'll
know,
be
the light,
fine.
the dark. You always have to.
You did get a lot of makeup, didn't you?
I did, didn't I? I know. It looks like I have a fake tan on right now. It's crazy. All right.
We can get some rumors in that direction, I'm sure.
Is there some? It's just Anders. There's fantastic sun here in Belarus.
I haven't
Minsk,
seen the sun yet.
super sunny outside. Just lovely. Just enough sun to keep it from going to -20.
It's snowing
good times.
all the time. Can't believe it. Okay, look, we're going to go into this match here. What do you think? I agree with the panel, though. I mean, this isn't an easy prediction, isn't it? It's not like you can't just clearly say this team's definitely going to win.
No, I would say that no, exactly, because of how Luminosity sometimes their game hinges on momentum for them. Like they need that strong start. We've seen it in the past. They're a very emotional team. They love to just start shouting, hype, get hype, clap hands, all that sort of stuff. But if the game starts going against them at the beginning of it, they struggle. They tend to drop off a little bit. They get really quiet, and that's the danger of having such an emotional roster, right? If you really rely on that raw like momentum to get you going, to be able to start locking down rounds, that's an issue if you don't get it. And Duncan pointed this out quite a bit, Thorin, in the analysis section, which is that G2 have such hard fraggers that you might go into a situation thinking, yeah, we're going to get this, but then Michael rips 2 of your players' heads off, and what can you do in that, right? That's the best way to just shut down somebody who relies on momentum. You just clobber them early on in the round right off the bat. So I think this could, it's that hedging bet thing that Thorin was talking about as well, right? It could go either way. I will go with Luminosity, though, just because I believe in Fall, and I believe in, the strategic aspect over the hard fragging aspect. So I think that the Brazilians will take this.
All right, well, we're about to find out here who's going to start on what side as we head into the train between Luminosity and Gamers 2. So big welcome to all of you. Of course, we're a bit delayed today. We caught up a bit on that because now we were quick to finish off the Chinese team. We're going to see, I imagine this could be one of those games that really drags on, which is obviously amazing. We want that. All 3 maps would definitely be a lot of fun here. But Train, obviously a much-needed map and a cool one, too. And it looks like, well, actually, doesn't look like anything. Could be still going out of the way. I'm sort of tempted to go Luminosity as well, just because, just because I'm feeling that right now.
I'm trying to figure out how to get game sound.
Oh no, you can't. We can't change that.
We can't change that. Okay.
This is our input, but we can still turn that up a little bit. That's
Yeah.
fine. Good to go, guys. Don't worry.
It's all good, guys. It's all good.
Right. I did actually. I was in the room when they were doing the video, and the rest of the Gamers 2 were saying this is roughly a 50-50 game, and Mike Kalele said, no, it's 100% for us. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, they are that kind of boisterous team, aren't they?
They are.
They are that kind of team who's just going to go in. Actually, we're just going to wreck these guys, and there you go. And they're absolutely capable of it. Duncan likes to make his jokes about, almost a hard fragger in every role, right? But if Rain, if Jacob, if Michael, and if the young rising star AZ, they start, hitting shots, it's going to be bad news bears here for Luminosity. They're going to really struggle in this situation. So. Train is an interesting map. There's a lot of options here for Luminosity on their T side. They are that more tactical roster, and I'm curious to see what they're going to go with.
I don't want to be that guy, but it seems to me like AC is due for a haircut. I'm just saying.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm liking the locks, man. He's got that. They're just luscious, you know. They're flowing.
Yes, the problem is getting me all confused here, Sumler. Look, we're going to move into the first round here, and it will be G2 starting on the Terror side, leaves Luminosity on the CT side here. We've got actually C-set 75 on Taco, which is interesting. No raid boss setup, except all Glocks, and then one smoke flashbang on Michael currently.
And this pistol round really just highlights exactly what we've been talking about. Gamers 2, there's no subtlety here. They just want to beat you up. They're going to go rushing in. Smoke goes down here, and Taco's in a great position. With that smoke down, it makes it so difficult for Gamers 2 to commit to this site. They are playing it smart, though, Gamers 2. They aren't charging through quite yet. They have a single flash on Michael. He's going to try and pop that down, perhaps, and then it's going to get nasty here. But Fair is the one who's actually spotted them on the lower ramp. He actually does a little bit of damage there to Michael.
Look at the restraint on Fur as well. He's got the HE. He hasn't thrown it out yet. Taco's close, but he instantly gets shot down. AC with the opening Glock kill. Fur with the follow-up grenade, and Michael is out of the round, and so is going to be Rain. So now it's down to a 3-on-4. Still no bomb plant happening. It is going on in the background right now, but it's just AC and Fox left, and I don't know how they could possibly make it out of this situation here. AC with a good kill, Fox with another one, and they are fighting their way back. Fallen trying to see if he can make it happen, and he drops AC. Now it's all on Fox.
Where is the kit? Are they going to be able to move up here? There's only 12 HP on FNX, and FNX actually hits the headshot, and there you go. The start that Luminosity were working for, they actually managed to pull it off where they can hold back G2, who did get onto that site. Two great HEs, though, made all the difference, I think. If all 5 players were still alive for G2, they would have pressed into Luminosity. They would have gone on the offense after that bomb plant went down. But the fact that LG, they managed to land 2 huge HEs, kill off 2 players of Gamer 2, and delay that bomb plant, it really did not go well for the mixed team.
Well, second round coming up. I mean, at least they got the bomb down. Jacob investing in a Tech 9 Deagle on AZ. Surprised almost that not more people are picking up Deagles. On this map, it's been proven to be quite effective, but you can kind of tell that Luminosity are seeing this coming a little bit. They've got 3 SMGs, which is definitely a sort of a slightly greedy buy. More greedy than when you see teams that really respect each other. I feel like especially lately in the last couple of months, people just go for like 1 or 2 SMGs, and sometimes even just 1.
Because of these SMGs, the low range, you have to get up close to these dangerous pistols, and that's not an attractive situation. And there you go. That's the perfect example. Rain, he gets taken out, but he does get that headshot onto FNX, and that's what can happen to you if you get caught up close. They should be able to save his rifle. There we go. Okay, so they save both M4s of Luminosity. So it's not the end of the world. But that's what you're looking for at this point right now on the CT side is stay away from the Tech 9s, try and keep the range far enough where you can just mow them down with the rifles and not be too much at risk of just the random lucky headshot that takes your face off.
Not exactly. Fallen leading the field right now with 6-0, and 0 hasn't died yet. Obviously, we're only in the 3rd round, and Gamers 2, because of that initial bomb plant, the little bit of bonus they got there, grenades and AKs on everybody, and a good start here for FNX, but Jacob there to return the kill, and AC going to go down. Look at that, Cold Zero. Double kill with the MP7, and that's not the kind of start that G2 were looking for, and what a flick, that Max 7 wrecking Jacob. All the pellets landing right in his face, and it's going to be up to Michael now, 1-on-4, looking to see if he can at least do some damage here, and this is important. He has to get at least 1 kill, and he's not going to survive that, so Luminosity, they win the round, they only lose FNX. That's a big win for them.
Oh, that was a sick shot from Taco. Just a quick flick, bam, lands it right off the bat. We'll see here. It's the fadeaway as well. He's just backing up. He's thinking, okay, it's time to get out of here. But, you know, before he leaves, boom. Nicely done. And we also missed, it was a double push in alley. That's also really nice here from Luminosity. They saw the aggressive push in Pop Dog. They're like, okay, there might be one guy here at alley waiting for us. We can overwhelm him, get the info, figure out, you know, what Gamers 2 are up to, and they get 2 kills out of that. So really nice play there from the Brazilian team, and that puts them at a solid 3-0 here. Now they have the rifles across the board, good nade count, and it's Gamers 2 who are going to be on pistols here, just hoping to get a bomb plant here on the A site.
That would be nice, but fairly aggressive play here from FNX, which is so popular here on the A-bomb sites. Have one guy playing that aggressively, and it's a nice way to put out of play any kind of wall or smoke play that's coming up. We've seen that a lot recently. We actually saw it over in Vegas as well, just how effective it could be to be playing close to the main entrance of A like that. It means that the terrorists have to sort of clear that out before they can even think about doing like a real smoke strat, and I don't think anyone's really figured out how to like properly play around that from the terrorist side, except to just find the guy and win the battle against him. But that's
basically it, right? That's why a lot of CTs actually don't like playing that up close spot, because you're kind of in an awkward spot where you're watching Pop Dog, but you can get shot in the back from main if your teammates are looking away at the wrong time. You know, it can be really awkward where you just, you know, bad luck. You're looking the wrong way at the wrong time, and you get shot in the back, and there you go. Your round is over, right? So it can be pretty frustrating, but looks like so far at least, Luminosity, they're doing all right. Gamers 2 have got the AWP over here on Fox now. They've actually got a pretty solid buy going into this. 4 rifles, full nades, and the op to come into play. But you see that Fallen has his over on the CT side.
Taco taking a bit of damage. He had a knife out to get just a little bit more speed with the strafing going on, so pretty good jiggle peeking for him. Fox trying to see if he can get boosted over there, but the Molotov's actually going to prevent that for a little bit. The bomb still all the way back on Michaelele here at about 1 minute left on the clock, so plenty of time for G2 to figure out where they want to hit, and they really do need one opening frag, and if Taco would have gone down, that would have been a really big start.
Instead, it's Fallen to find Michaelele. That was over at A main as well. Bomb is dropped over there, so this is going to slow Gamers 2 down when it comes to this execute. They're going to try and push out onto the A site, try and pinch onto it. 2 guys out from Popdog, 2 guys out from Ali, and the push begins, and Fallen is there to just shut Rain down immediately. They're in position as well to stop the push coming in from Ali. The smoke is up to block it, but then look at this boost. Not sure if Cold spotted the man on the angle there, but he will be in position to take out Jacob, and now it's down to the 2 remaining players here from Gamers 2, pushing in from Ali, and one of them gets picked off. It's all on AZ now, and he's not going to win his duel versus Fer. He gets nailed, and it's 5-0. Luminosity, Anders, when we're going into this map, this is exactly what we're talking about. Just the fact that this team becomes so dangerous. The more rounds they get on the board, the more frags like this kind of play where it's like double sprays, you know, real confidence building sort of situations. Luminosity becomes such a scary team at that point. They're so hard to stop.
Yeah, on the other hand, Gamers 2 are playing slightly, I would say, out of their comfort zone. They're approaching these rounds very slowly. Now, I understand they want to pick up, you know, a couple of entry frags maybe, but they're sort of a slightly demented team in the sense that they really should just be rushing and taking, you know, big fights, fast plays like that. I want to see them play much more sort of an Envy style than what they're doing here, and I think that'll work better for them. They are rushing into the bomb side here. AC going to pick the 1 kill here. Nice shot from Fox. Just comes flying off the balcony, but not going to work out. Fenix picking up the last 2 kills there, and that's going to be 6-0. I want to see a fast round out of the European mix here. I feel like it's not going to work to play these slow rounds.
Yeah, you can see. I mean, the thing is that Luminosity now, what's stopping Gamers 2 from going for the ultra-quick rounds is that Luminosity have got the money to go for the incendiaries and the HEs, basically having all the nades, so the anti-rush nades. If Gamers 2 try and go fast, Luminosity have already shown that they're willing to just chuck some incendiaries into A main right at the beginning of the round, try and slow down any kind of aggression, ultra-aggression coming out from the Gamers 2 side. We already have the HEs going out, and that's a little bit too predictable there from Fallen. Not sure if he's aware, but you know, he's had the teammate just sitting there at the bottom of ramp in the early beginning of this half, so it's become natural for Gamers 2 to check that angle. So maybe a little miscommunication there on the Luminosity side, or just a little overconfidence on Fallen's part, believing he'd land that shot.
But a good job from Taco to bring it back. That definitely helps out a lot. Fer on top of the train here, which also means for them to smoke him out would be very difficult. But Rain with a nice control, long-range spray here. Cold out of position as well. Gonna go down to Michaelele, and Rain will finally fall. But still, 2-on-3 favoring Gamers 2. They need this round. It might be their first, and Michaelele gonna make sure they get the second kill as well. So now Taco, he is gonna be alone with 22 health here. And Gamers 2 finally connecting the dots and just winning a couple of fights out there.
This is a bit of the old JW, isn't it? Sitting pop dog with the op? Come on, man. You missed that shot, you're a dead man. But JW was famous for it. He'd go in there with the op, he'd go in there with the swag 7, just sit and camp and wait. It was so deadly in there, but that's not going to matter in the end here. Taco's backed off. He's looking for an exit frag if he gets lucky. He would love to be able to drop Gamers 2 down to 2 surviving members here at the end of the round to force somebody, well, to make somebody force buy in the next one, spend all of their money. And he's actually getting in a pretty decent spot. He's worked his way all the way around here, and AZ, he might get caught. AZ is going to check the angle, and he will land the shot. Taco just not having enough HP there to really take a spray battle. The pressure is on here now. 3 players survive, but this is the big deciding round here as far as G2 are concerned. If they lose this one, they're going to be back to 1,400 starting money, back to a hard eco, and it's going to get nasty. A couple of them do actually have decent money. Well, 2,750, 4,300 on AZ. He's got the most here on G2, but it isn't pretty still, regardless.
Yeah, they could easily run into a lot of trouble, and I mean, they are playing the terrorist side here. 1-6 is not so far a particularly good scoreline. We'll see if they can change their luck around just a little bit here, and they're getting forced back early on. I mean, Taco is playing this ramp sort of fairly aggressively. Could obviously be more, but he's doing a good job of just having them waste time so far. You can tell that they're a bit worried.
I don't think he spotted Fox as well. A little bit of well, bad luck there for Taco, although he's right on the edge, and there it is. He gets the angle right over that smoke and even gets out of dodge, only losing 1 point of health. So perfect job there from Taco to get that early advantage here for Gamers 2. Now the pressure is really on here for the T side. They're man down. They still have good nades, but Luminosity are going to be feeling this round. They've got it locked.
And you actually saw earlier that Taco was doing a different kind of one-way smoke, a little bit lower on the ramp. This one was higher up, and I mean, it's a trick that once you've seen it, you know it, and you won't. I mean, they won't die to that again, but it worked this time. And Taco gonna spray down another 2. That's AC and Mikey Lelegon, and this is looking like a great round here for the Brazilian team. It's now Rain and Jacob left, and they at least need that bomb plant. They need the money to try and continue to buy, but grenades are raining in, and look how aggressive LG are being. They're not gonna let that bomb go down. Cold coming in with the frag as well, and Rain, well, he is gone. He's going to be up against the sidewalk there. Spur takes him out. Great defense from Taco, and I mean, again, you know, young player, and I think if we had to sort of point out a weak link on this team, might just be him, but he's playing really well at the moment.
Yeah, towards the end of that year, you know, when we saw Luminosity play, it was usually, you know, all eyes on Taco. Cold is going ham, FNX going into clutch, Fallen with EWP. You know, you had all these players really standing out, and Taco seemed to be struggling, trying to find, you know, his comfort zone on the roster where he could really start getting those frags in. So it's good to see, you know, him stepping up when it's demanded of him. He has to be that man. You know, you have to have 5 players hitting shots to compete at the top. And, well, nice opening from AZ. Double kill, but then Fallen's there to take out one of his teammates. He spots Michael there as well, misses the shot, but it's still a man advantage here for Luminosity, holding on this A site.
Very critical double kill right now. If they lose this round, G2, then I don't know. It's going to be really hard for them to do anything in the rest of this half. AC with a really good kill there to bring it back into a 2-on-2. They've got so much time. They don't have to stick around and fight it. They could easily just regroup and, you know, go somewhere else and see if they can't just outplay Luminosity on a positional level. But right now, they're sticking around, and Cold is going to spot one guy falling back. Still more than a minute left.
That was the bomb as well. So you can see the instant rotation coming out here towards the B site now. They want to be in position in Luminosity. If they step out, Fallen missing shot after shot. If he just landed one of those, this would be a completely different situation. But it's still that 2-on-2, and AZ hits the huge headshot on Cold. So all of the pressure now is on, well, is going to be on Fallen, and AZ is sitting on 4 frags. So we'll see if the young gun is actually going to be able to pull off the ace here, keep his team in this half. Look at Fallen, though. He's taking so much time. He's actually wrapped all the way back around them. They have no idea that he's here. Easy shot for Fallen, and now into the 1-on-1, but he's not going to pull it off. It is the ace for AZ. He gets the job done single-handed here for Gamers 2.
That's a big round, and a sort of unusual ace as well, right? That sort of was stretched out across almost the whole round, but really nicely done. And Fallen still making it a bit expensive, but now Luminosity are in a position where they've just used their whole bank to buy in this round, which means this just might be the most critical round yet in the first half. If they lose it, Gamers 2 could sort of slowly dig their way back in the game here, and it could be a very interesting first half anyway. So we'll see how it turns out here. Again, Taco very aggressive, and another smoke here. This is another one-way, the one that we were talking about earlier, just trying to see if he can make a way. Actually, this is a third one-way smoke that he has at the ramp, and that's a lot of preparation to put into it.
Yeah, he's clearly done his homework here, making it really difficult for Gamers 2 to find an edge. Smoke goes down, but he's going to be in position to be on the other side of it if it blooms. And so now he can really apply the pressure here to Gamers 2 if they decide to press down that ramp. But it doesn't look like Gamers 2 are interested in the B site for now. They're wrapping back towards that A site. AZ just checking Pop Dog to make sure nobody's lurking around here. He's still got 2 teammates over close to main. And it seems like Gamers 2 might be having a bit of a discussion right now as to where they want to be setting this up, where they want to go. They're just waiting to see if Luminosity have pushed anywhere.
Well, the bomb is making its way out of Pop Dog. They're getting out really, really close here before they even got spotted. And there's some Brig opening kills. AC and Fox picking up a kill each, in Cold Zero finally replying. But the bomb is definitely going to go down here, and I'm not sure how they're going to retake this. You got to remember, they have no money. They have to make a hard choice right now. Do they want to fight, or are they just going to try and fall back and see if they can save these rifles for the upcoming round? And I think unless they get a kill, really fast kill, and there's one from Taco, they might just have to fall back here.
Yeah, they know he's coming from Connector. They don't know he's boosted, though. Cold with the flash, takes the fight, loses it versus Rain. And that's not going to help things here for Luminosity. Now down a man. They know a player is playing from Pop Dog. Taco eliminates him. Taco really hitting the shots right now. Fallen, missing another key op shot, and he goes for the challenge. Rain takes his head off, and that forces Taco to turn and run. There's just not enough time, especially because Cold had the kit, and he got killed over by Ali. It's just too far away to go and pick that up. Just not worth committing to this retake now for Luminosity. They just need to hold on to Taco and make sure that that rifle survives the next round.
And it looks like it will. So 7-3 scoreline, and Luminosity with the one rifle that they've saved, and Gamers 2. I mean, they did take some casualties in that round, but they're going to be in a better place. And you've got to imagine that sort of the mood on the team has got to be brightening just a little bit here. They can sense that they've got their their claws digged into something good right now. So what are they going to try and do? Got to avoid the deagles. That's the one big thing that I can think of here. Cold, he's actually trying to force the issue over at Ivy.
They've been very good. Yeah, exactly. There we go. Easy. That's what I was thinking. He's been so good about just sitting and waiting for the push, and somehow he lives. 8 HP left on him. He nearly gets taken out by Cold with the dig. FNX has got one of his own, and Fallen's holding close to A main. Fallen really trying to save as much money as possible. He hasn't invested in a pistol this round, so not going to be super good for him. Although getting headshots, or 2 of them nearly, that works out just fine. Drops the man down to 13 HP. It's still just going to be all on FNX here, though. So far, actually, this is shaping up to be a fantastic anti-eco around here for Gamers 2. If they can keep all 5 players alive, that's going to be so good for their economy here at the end of the half. Basically means they can afford full nades, and they have a little bit of a safety net. If they were to lose a round now, it's not going to mean a hard eco or some kind of pistol force.
This is where things start to get really tricky here because, again, LG's economy is not looking good. Even after a sort of a save like this where they did buy a couple of things, it's still going to be rough. So somehow they're going to have to find a way back into to this game. When you get the kind of lead that they were having just now, you can't just give it all up and end up with 6-7 rounds for the terrorist team, which is what we're realistically looking at here. Luminosity are going to have to do a lot better than this.
Yeah, now they have to really start pulling it together. They have a bit of a decision to make, actually. Do they decide to go for a quasi-buy? I'd recommend a quasi-buy. They can let Gamers 2 get up to 5 rounds and still feel comfortable enough to close it out, but they are going to go for the force. So that means maybe... Well, man, it's crazy. It feels like we've seen Fallen miss so many shots, and yet he's still sitting with 14 frags. He's got the most frags on his team. So that's actually kind of, that's just a little off-putting, considering you really do expect, Cold, FNX, Fur, to be stepping it up. As always, when times get rough, it's Fallen who seems to be leading his team by example.
No, I agree. I think that's one of the qualities of Fallen, which is also why I think whenever people talk about really good in-game leaders, you have to include Fallen in this discussion. You'd be mad not to. Taco, again, playing very aggressively up here. They are respecting it a lot. I mean, there's been a couple of rounds where G2 have sort of tried to push past him, but otherwise, they actually let him control a huge part of the map on his own. I mean, if you look at it, he's alone. If he dies, they could just rush right into B. I'm not sure G2 will figure that out yet. Now Rain pushing outside here. Fur going to get the first kill. Rain getting a headshot blind for the smoke and picks up a second shot on FNX, and that's, well, just going to be all Rain out in this bomb site. Finally, Taco comes in with the double Mac 10 kill, or Mac 7 kill, and now it's going to be all on Fox here, 1-on-2. What a strange round.
What a turnaround. Luminosity, they're playing into Gamers 2's hands. If they're playing for these duels, if they're just saying, okay, I'm going to stand here and take the aim fight, that's exactly the kind of fight Gamers 2 want. They want to go toe-to-toe. They want the head-to-head shots, but it's Taco instead with a triple kill in the round who's here to save it for Luminosity. The backstab, you're right, Anders. They give him so much space on that B site. I mean, Gamers 2 didn't challenge him, and he just pushes immediately into Pop Dog behind this push from Gamers 2 onto the A site, gets 2 kills off of that, drops the bomb carrier as well, and just completely turns the round, well, makes the round a success here for Luminosity rather than it getting thrown away by taking duels versus Gamers 2. I mean, Gamers 2, they want the aim fights. That's exactly how they want to play this game. Luminosity need to avoid that at all costs.
He always starts off with his 1 grenade, and this time actually he gets tagged fairly early on. Rain picking up another kill there. Fur gonna go down. Luminosity, they need to think about winning out here. They want that 11-4 scoreline at the end of it. Taco getting flashed all the way back behind the train here, and that allows them to push up a little bit behind, and he's just taking shots here down to 14 health, and Fox picking up Cold as well. Taco, they need another big play from him, but he doesn't have the health this time.
No, he really doesn't. He is actually going to try and charge through, but he gets caught by Michaelele in the end. FNX just chilling out over here in Pop Dog, and Fallen with the AWP just doesn't want to risk it. He knows that he doesn't have enough HP, and so he decides to back it off. That is one thing, though, is that what we saw earlier, I think Taco got legged. If he didn't get legged, he got tagged through the door, but he's still playing that position, and he's getting punished for it. He's becoming a little bit too predictable with how he's holding over there when he doesn't have that smoke down, because Fox came down and he was pre-aiming that spot. They're making it very expensive here for Gamers 2, but Gamers 2 have the money for this. It shouldn't be too bad for them. I mean, if they keep the last 2 players alive, it shouldn't be the end of the world here for Gamers 2 that they lost so many players on the hunt. It's the correct move to go for here for Gamers 2, really. They want to try and drop as many guns off of Luminosity as possible to just get these ops off, but then they actually get 4 kills out of that on FNX. He just wrecked them.
Yeah, that's insane, isn't it? Fallen calling for a pause here, and we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, Starts off, steals the ult, but I mean, at this point, I thought he would be dead. It looked like AC had him in a good position, so pretty well done from FNX. Now, I mean, the one thing you notice in that round is how little they respect Taco. They've seen that grenade, the initial HE come out, and instead of waiting for him and sort of waiting for him to make a move and put up a smoke or a flashbang or something, they just go for it instead. They just run him down, and that was pretty much, I think that was a smart play from Gamers 2. I think they finally identified that he was going to be there alone and that they could just challenge him. So that was what they did.
I like Fallen's idea there. It looked to me like he wanted to go for a tactical pause, which really isn't something we see too often. This is going to turn nasty here for Jacob if he tries to come back up this ladder. And Popdog, again, Taco's pushed all the way right behind him. He's going to be able to drop right down as soon as this push starts to go in here for the A site. He's going to be right on top of it with the backstab. And so AZ does manage to lurk his way out through. Fallen gets caught in the back. FNX is gone. And this is just completely falling apart. How did this happen? 4 frags in the blink of an eye. Luminosity getting overwhelmed, and now it's all on Cold in a 1v3. They looked so good, Luminosity. They looked like they had complete control of the situation.
Yeah, they really did, but I don't know, just pretty good timing, I think it comes down to for G2, really. They managed to push like simultaneously, more or less. As soon as AC gets that initial kill, then they instinctively feel like now's the time for it. And they're not wrong either. So where is that going to leave us now? 8-6, and we're moving into the fifth start.
I think it was, what, 6-1, and then from there, G2 were just able to keep that pressure up on the Brazilians, and that can't be allowed to happen here. That's the one issue with Luminosity, is once things start to work against them, they seem to suffer a lot from that. They're a team that really do, thrive on the hype. But in the lows are low, Anders. They really do seem to struggle. Halftime now, a bit of a discussion.
I'm stuck focusing on AC's hair in the background there.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. I wish he would braid it like a true Viking, like braid it, like to.
Actually, I could be okay with that. I was wondering if maybe he's gunning for like a L'Oreal sponsorship, like a personal one. He's like,
right,
making the Skrilla,
making the Skrilla.
Probably is right.
He's got to talk to Thorn about that, Thorn will give him some tips on making Skrilla.
Hook him up. Well, we are going to be moving into the second half here. It's Luminosity and Gamers 2. It's the second match of the day here and the first day of the StarSeries final. So there's a lot to come still, guys. A lot of Counter-Strike. And we'll see if G2 can continue. I mean, they really recovered in that first half. And now, she said, Luminosity might be sort of slightly tilted. AC casually tapping away in the smoke, hoping for a shot on someone. Taco. Actually, Fallen going to be the one to open up, but he was assisted by Taco there. Cold shotting down Jacob, and there's Taco coming into play and dropping AC. So a fantastic start here for the Brazilian side. And it's all now on Michael Lily and Rain. I don't see them bringing this round back.
They're going to be hard-pressed. Shots in from Michael. He at least picks up the one. He nearly gets the second as well, but Taco manages to snake a headshot in there. And ooh, brutal for with the last one. So 9-7 pistol round going Luminosity's way. So at least there's that. They don't exactly end with the best score at the end of their CT half, but they get the pistol round, so they can start off strong here, and they aren't messing around, Anders. They go straight 3 rifles, a scout, and then Fur with the MAC-10, but that's all right with the MAC-10. That's not the end of the world. 3 rifles, though. They really want to go ahead and play the range game as well here. Maybe push out onto A site and really do some damage.
Now, I actually really love the MAC-10 pickup, especially if he's first playing this aggressively. That's what I wanted to say. If he's playing this aggressively, then that's awesome. And Fallen going to be just setting Fox on fire there. Finally, Michael Lily comes through with a nice Deagle headshot that might just slow down Luminosity a little bit here. But the bomb plant should be going through, and Rain is going to be going down as well. It's so smart to use that MAC-10, because if he runs into a huge stack, then all they get is a MAC-10 out of it, and the rest of the team can push somewhere else. I love it.
They had good nades there as well, really pummeling the likely spots that G2 would be holding from second train at the back towards the bomb train. They had a nade that went boom right on top of the ladder right there. One of those players ate it. Didn't spot his name, but still, that's painful, and that's going to be really frustrating here for Gamers 2, that they aren't able to get more out of that round. They only get the 1 kill. That's not quite good enough, and Fur just goes right back to the MAC-10. Sure, he gets a kill with it in the last round, so that's $600 bonus going into his pocket, so sure, just go for it again. FNX will take out Michael Lele, but this is a hard eco coming out here from Gamers 2. They need every dollar going into the first buy round here of the half of themselves, so they're going to be taking their time with it.
Look at this. They were all on the ramp, and they let Fur go in first. I love this. So many teams can actually learn a lot from this, and could have maybe been a couple of kills there for Jacob, but not quite going to go through. Instead, it is a double kill. I just want to point out, because, all right, the MAC-10 buy in the second round is good. The MAC-10 buy in the third round is even better because they know from the second round they had armor. That means they know they're not going to have it in the third round, so it makes even more sense to buy the MAC-10 the second time around. And the fact that they have the discipline just to wait and let the MAC-10 player go in first, it sounds like a trivial thing, but you'd be surprised how many top teams fail to do that, where you just have like one AK getting 3 kills, which doesn't make as much sense.
Well, not only that, you're actually risking that AK. That's what we always talk about. It's bread and butter CS when you're dealing with an eco situation. Don't run in with an AK and risk giving your opponents a rifle. Very quick execute coming out here from Luminosity, though, onto that B site. They just go charging down the ramp. They overrun Rain. He's there. Fallen, gonna miss a shot, but he gets the follow-up, takes out Michaelele, and that pretty much ends it here for Gamers 2. They're snuffed. Fair is up close. He's going to be able to dunk a nade in there, but this isn't worth it for Gamers 2 anymore. They don't have the nades to go charging in to really try and do some damage with the HEs. They're instead just going to back off and see if they can't hold on to their guns. They know that they'll be hard ecoing if they actually lose this round.
I would say sort of a classic train timing here.
Wait, that was the op on Fallen. Why is he running alone? That's a little silly. That
definitely doesn't make a lot of sense, but winning the round, on the other hand, is definitely a good move from Luminosity. I think what happens here is something that hasn't been exploited as much in Go as it was, say, in 1.6, is this idea that pretty much every counter-terrorist team ever will put 4 people in the A-bomb site in the first 10 seconds, and then 1 person in B. So you can beat that timing on the terrorist side. I mean, if there's one guy playing connector, and you have someone like Fallen holding the connector, which he was, and then the follow-up Molotov, where's the backup going to come from? So if you just win the initial fight against the one guy playing B, it is a pretty solid timing push, and that's what worked out for them this time around. Again, you can see here just now, 4 people in A, 1 person in B. So if you just take that quick fight there, now, down to 1 minute and 38 seconds, and then that's where a second player comes in. But you can still beat it if you want to. AC getting the first shot there, but a lot of grenades raining in, and Fox dropping very low.
Yeah, they should know that he's holding there as well. They're hitting him with those nades. That makes a sound. They are just going to go charging through. They get the punish, but then AZ's in position. Double headshot for him, just shutting down that push coming in from Ali. They still don't know where the bomb is placed right now, Gamers 2, but they shouldn't care too much. They've got a 2-man advantage. They have all the time in the world to just lock this down and make it so difficult for Luminosity to get back into this round. And there it is, Rain. He doesn't fall to the man pushing out on upper here at Cold. He's looking for that headshot, but he's not going to get it. Instead, well, I'm not going to count him out, but there's still so much ground here to cover for Luminosity. Luckily for them, they still have time. But Jacob takes out Cold, so that pretty much ends it here. It's all on Fur now in a 1v4.
Right, and we love talking about how smart Rain is, right? It's our favorite thing in the world.
God-tier clutch player.
Yeah, but you see in that bomb site as well, he's up on the train. As soon as he gets spotted, he tries to take like a shot, but he just falls back. And he goes back. He doesn't want to commit to the fight, because why would he? The best that could happen is he gets a kill in a round where they're already winning it massively, which doesn't really have a big impact on the round from his point of view. Or at worst, he dies, and then suddenly they're playing 2-on-3, and maybe they lose the bomb side as well. So it definitely is just a very easy thing to say, but it's a lot of players will take that fight, especially when you're playing 2-on-4. You feel like, well, I'll just take it. Even if I die, we'll probably still win the round anyway. That's how rounds are lost.
Yeah, this was the big round here, though. The big moment in the round when AZ manages to hold off that push coming through the smoke at Ali. I mean, they had the good read, Luminosity. They realized that it was Fox holding there with that AWP. He has 1 shot to stop you. If he misses it, he's a dead man, which is basically what Luminosity were playing off of. But then AZ, yeah, you can't account for just pure skill. AZ, he'll deliver headshots all day long. Fallen, though, will finally actually come through here. He does get an opening pick on Fox, so it didn't happen in the last round. They traded shots. This time around, Fallen, he's going to get that first pick.
And that's obviously big. Mike Kelele down on Ivy. I think he may have heard them running through, but he's not really sure how to react. That smoke is going to make it difficult. And Taco, look how close he is with the with the Tech-9. He's just walking up right behind him, hasn't been spotted yet. And there he's going to unleash hell. Quick headshot, almost a second kill. AC, quick to react, but he's going to go down to FNX. Just completely infiltrated that A defense. And now it's going to go down to Michaelele and Rain here. 2-on-4 again, and I don't think they could do it. This is a big round for the Brazilian side.
That was such cool patience shown from Taco. What a cool customer. Just sits there, gets all the info, spots the man going into connector, sees the man bomb train, and then sees the man by alley train as well. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. Even just getting the 1 kill, you might think, oh, why didn't he get that second kill? It's all good. He got all the info on the setup.
Now, did you say by alley train or by alley train? There's material for real Photoshop there.
Good point.
Well, as Michael, Lily, and Rain, and saving the rifles right now is paramount to them. And Rain going to go do a decent job initially. Quick headshot there on the AWP player again. Fallen pushing out and being maybe a little bit too aggressive. Fer going to follow it up. And Michael Lele, he's in the corner. He could still be found. First going to run the other way. So at least they save the AWP. Luminosity now 3 rounds away from winning Train.
And now there's the decision for Gamers 2. Do they go for the Force? They can drop 2 guns. Well, one of them can fall by Rain pretty much. Then they can drop a gun. Exactly. Okay, so they will go for the Force buy here. 3,000 is just enough to make it worthwhile for Gamers 2, it seems. But this is all or nothing. If they lose this round, yeah, that's it. Pretty much Luminosity will get up to match point, or should get up to match point. You can never count out pistols in CSGO, but if Luminosity play it right, they're in a very good position here to take map 1 of this best of 3. And so far, it is looking like it's going to be that full execute coming out here onto the A site. Push begins, and they're going to go charging out through A main and Pop Dog, and there it is. Taco with the entry frag takes out Jacob, but Michaelele strikes with the AWP. It's just back and forth right now. Michaelele with the team kill?
Oh no, it was a 2-for-1 shot. Fallen also fell on the other side, and now it's down to Michaelele here. 1-on-2. AWP in hand. He's got the health for it. And a lot of time as well. They still need to run all the way into B to get the bomb down. And I'm wondering if he's read this already. Taco going to go down, and that turns it into a 1-on-1. So this could be the quad kill clutch here for Michaelele. I think he's going to realize now the bomb is in the other bomb site, but how is he possibly going to guess where FNX is going? And he's close here with the AK-1 missed shot, and there's the headshot. FNX playing it perfectly in that situation. So, I mean, it's a really, really good attempt for Michaelele, and it's the sort of round they had to win.
Yeah. It is, it is. That made all the difference. You go for a force buy like that when you're pretty much up on the finish line, where you need to have every dollar and all the guns, yeah. It is not going to help here for Gamers 2 now. As you guys can see, down to $2,000. They have invested in some pistols, P250s, a deagle on Michaelele. If he can get some headshots, I mean, it's time for a highlight reel moment here for Gamers 2 to really keep them in this first map. If they lose it, well, you see, there we go. Michaelele, first headshot. Let's start like a ticker here in the top corner, right?
It's a great start, but now the B bomb site is lost, and they have they have no equipment with which to retake this bomb site. Fallen extending his lead as the top fragger with another 2 kill here with the AWP, and that's going to leave Rain, AC, and Fox left alone for hunting one down. Knife is out from Fox. Not going to be the case. That would have been nice, though. And AC, who is, I think, the top fragger on the G2 side, doing a reasonably good job, but this is slipping out of their hands. It slipped out of their hands already, Semler.
Fallen is truly unique, man. You know, it's
Is AC taking a shower? He's got that long hair as well.
He heard you, the L'Oreal ad. He's got to come out of there with his head.
I think there's even like shampoo, right? I've checked. I'm pretty sure there is.
He might walk in here. Yeah, he's not going to make it. $300 in Taco's pocket for the kill. And that's map point now for Luminosity. They're up to it. They've got quite a few rounds to work with as well to close out this first game. And it is a force buy here from Gamers 2. But look at how few nades they have to work with here, Anders. Not even a kit. Not even a kit, which is a little questionable here for Michaelele and Fox. I mean, considering you can shave $350 off if you hold off buying that helmet with the Kevlar. You know that they're all going to have AKs. So that's where you have to wonder. You know, it's like, go for the helmet, really?
Yeah, you definitely think so. Jacob opening up there with a good kill, and actually G2, they're bringing it back a little bit as well. AC with another kill, and Michaelele chiming in. So now it's going to be all on FNX and Fallen. 2-on-3, and AC doing a very good job defending outside here. It seems like if they're going to have any chance of bringing this round or this game back in, they might have to rely on AC almost exclusively here. A good defense, in spite of some aggressive play coming out of the Brazilian side. I think what has to be scary for everybody else playing this tournament right now, watching this game as well, is that Coldzera is bottom fragging at 12 kills, and yet Luminosity as a whole is playing really well at the moment. And that, I mean, we've all seen what Coldzera can do when he gets unleashed.
Oh, yeah. He's, a monster. He nearly took the MVP award at DreamHack Winner, the Face It tournament at the end of last year. He's one of the best up-and-coming players, basically, of the last year. Just coming
I think in many minds actually probably like the best. A lot of people would say.
To me, this is what's fascinating about this match is that it's between Cold and AZ, really.
Yeah.
Between the two of them, they, as far as just breaking out, having a breakout start to the year, both of them, they've mauled Tier 1 players.
Well, it's a strong start. It's an even better follow-up as AC goes down here. Double entry for Luminosity and Rain walking right into CT spawn. Going to get shot down by Taco, and this is all falling apart right now. 5-on-2. It's Michael Lilly, Jacob trying to see if they can prevent Train from slipping into the hands of Luminosity. And it looks like the last round they're going to get the 1 kill, but that's it. Luminosity finish it 16-9. And the Brazilians going to be walking on into the next map. That's impressive. That's a good victory.
Yeah, what a fantastic start. Yeah, they're going to be all smiles after that. It's the perfect beginning to this match, and then they go into Inferno as well, which is also a really solid map for Luminosity. They can definitely get some work done on there. Fallen's demonstrated well. I mean,
damn son, yeah.
Yeah, this is looking very good here for Luminosity.
And I do believe in the veto process that it was actually G2 that had the sort of the choice of playing Inferno sort of second or last. So they could have switched it around if they wanted to.
That's actually something worth mentioning. If I'm not mistaken, the ban it's 4 bans.
Yes.
Both teams actually get 2 bans before you even have to pick a map, which is not a common ban system. Which is
yeah.
Yeah.
9. Well, all right. Well. Yeah. We will be obviously back with the second map, but before that we have a commercial break. Then we've got the analyst desk. We need to break it down here, so we'll be right back.
E-Gaming Bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 in Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
You got spare game codes or any digital goods? There is a place you can sell them in less than 1 minute. Watch. Go to G2A.com. Click Start Selling. Fast login. Go to My Account and click on Selling tab. Sell new item. Enter name, code, set a price. And done. G2A.com Digital Marketplace. Global selling simplified.
Do you have extra CSGO skins? Do you want to win really cool things? Visit CSGOFast.com. Place your bets and win really cool skins. CSGOFast.com. Check your fortune.
Welcome back, guys. I had no cue that time. We are
That's
here.
how we did it, testing you.
It's all right. I should have known the routine
He was
by
in
now.
shutdown mode there, sleep
was.
mode, but when you wave a hand in front of him, he comes to life, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't the first time I've been caught spacing out on camera if we could think back to London,
That's
by the
true.
way. But, guys, that pretty much went as expected. Everyone kind of thought, all of us on the panel, that Luminosity would have that game. I don't know if we thought it would be quite that convincing. 7-1 to start it off. A little bit of a comeback from G2, but then all Luminosity in the second half.
I also had the feeling that the comeback from G2 was, in a way, kind of Luminosity being a bit sloppy, because 2 of the most key T rounds G2 had was actually when a T could actually sneak into a position that he was not supposed to, like on Toxic or inside, when Jakem got the whole bomb side and then could kill the guy from the connector. So in a way, I think Luminosity got a bit overconfident when they were leading 7-1, allowed G2 to come back into the game. But then again, I kind of knew that Luminosity was just overall better on train, and this is what happened.
Yeah. The scariest thing for G2 going forward in this one is like Cold Zero is actually the quietest player for Luminosity going. This is actually all about FNX and Fallen. Fallen making consistent AWP frags, opening up the round consistently time and time again. And we go into Inferno, and you feel like if Cold Zero even turns up that map, who's going to stop them? Right now, G2 don't really seem to be fragging. It's only AZ, the player we kind of called out, said he's going to start like synergizing with this team correctly. He had a really good game. He was like 22 frags by the end of it. The problem is for G2, really, Fox now, he's been moved over to that main AWP role. I think he finished on 7 kills. And on Train, it's a very AWP-dependent map. If your AWP is not opening up certain segments for you, defending correctly, you feel like that's a key reason and could be pivotal as to why they're not actually entering this game correctly. Like 16-7 in the end. Like after getting 7 rounds on the T half, 16-8, sorry, but the fact they got 7 rounds on T and then like just didn't do anything on their CT half at all suggests something went very, very wrong for them.
The thing is, the scoreline looked at one point like it was close, but actually kind of to touch on what Maniac said, I felt like that was deceptive, actually. Luminosity was really in control of the game in the first half, even when they gave up the odd round. Now, the flow of the game, normally you think if you're T-side, it doesn't matter if you get wrecked early on train. If you pick up the odd round here and there, as long as it adds up to, say, 4 or 5 at the end, you think, right, I'm still in the game. But it really was more that Luminosity kind of let them back in on those rounds. And you know Luminosity, they've made their name as a terrorist side team. Yeah. So they were going to have a good T-side half. They're a good team on this map. So I actually already felt like the fragging wasn't there when they switched over to CT side for G2 to be able to get like a big streak of like 10 rounds themselves. Yeah. And you saw it didn't ever happen. Like AZ was good, but then you look over and Fox, it's not that he ever gave up AWPing even. He just wasn't having an impact on the game.
So the AZ point, though, because you guys touched on it a little bit in Dignitas as well. All of his big performances, because he has hit another level, have been when his teammates are struggling.
It's almost in vain at that point. If you're going to have a great series there, but if your team aren't even getting close to winning it, like what's the point that no one else is stepping up and playing at that level? It's very difficult. It's very frustrating at that sort of point. It's like, guys, why are you actually not having any impact?
He's like, guys, it's easy for me. What about you guys?
Nice. It's ready.
That was good. I liked it. To be fair, though, I mean, there was some issues with G2 getting anything rolling. Not to mention economy was obviously a huge factor in that game. But
that's the thing.
Fox wasn't even getting
every time they won a round on CT, like they literally lost the one after it as well. So they had to, even towards the end of the game, it was like 14-8 or something. They had to fully
did string. It was 7-1 and went to 7-4. So they did string 3 together at one point in time.
That was fine on the first half. Like the first half was fine. That was no problem there. Getting 7 rounds on your T half is fine. That's not a problem at all. It's just their CT half, you only pick up 1 round, like you're going to be thinking, what the hell actually happened?
And that's the problem, if you define the way the game went for G2, is that, okay, T-side, you actually got a decent number of rounds overall, regardless of how you got those rounds. But, because we'd said coming in, like, I mean, they don't have the strongest identity in terms of in-game leader, hierarchy, how are they going to play? They're just trying to shoot people's heads off. The problem there is they weren't doing that even on the first half when they got those rounds. And so when they switched to CT, the only way they were going to win was just by out-fragging the guys from Luminosity. And like he said there, if Luminosity's best player can kind of take the game off and they can still out-frag you, you're going to be in big trouble. So going into the next map, forget what Luminosity, G2, they have to have a bunch of players show up big time on the next maps.
Yeah, and about what Thorin is saying, that because they needed to have those different skills, make the entry frag as City, because they obviously didn't have the tactical background to beat Luminosity. What happened is that they allowed Luminosity to get the first kill. Obviously, Fallen can in first pick with the AVP.
Almost every time.
One of the things is that Luminosity is probably, in my perspective, one of the best power play team ever. When it comes to 5v4, 4v3, they will play it very methodically.
Every time you say power play, I get really happy because it's like hockey. I can
Does that make any sense in Counter-Strike? Can I say that? Okay, nice.
Yeah.
When they had those situations, they control it very nicely. I mean, they will fake you, even though they are in power play. They will wait until the end of the round. They will force you to gamble, and they will wait on the gamble, kill you, and kill the round. That happened to me a lot of times when we were practicing against them. They are controlling the situation all
I mean,
the
that's
time.
Obviously, you can see where that's Fallen's influence on the team, because he's a guy who kind of I think it was like a professor of Counter-Strike. It's supposedly before he made these teams, he was actually teaching other players and doing lessons in Brazil. And so he's obviously a guy where he's figured out the fundamentals of the game and he drills them into his team. He's like, listen, when you're in this situation, like play off your teammate here, make a crossfire. And so it's been mentioned on many broadcasts before, but I think in those scenarios, the power plays, as he kind of references there, they're the smartest team. They're the most efficient team. And they used to be that good also when they had the bad lineups, when they had the less skilled players. So the fact of being able to bring that over to the more skilled lineup, that's what makes them dangerous now.
G2's point, lack of in-game leader. This tournament, and we're going to see this more in 2016, coaches have a computer. StarX was in-game for the first time ever
I think
at a tournament.
such a huge factor, right?
Well, that puts more pressure on the whole who's available as a coach if they go that route. Where do they go at this point?
So my question is, what's happening on that computer for G2? Is there just like some guy just ordering a pizza? Like, what do you want? Pepperoni, anchovies?
Pizza, I'm going to get
For
some.
people who aren't aware like what that impact that laptop has, like it's a new thing really. I think it was like so it started in December, so people realized you could actually, let's actually bring the laptop. Instead of a coach stood behind just watching everything and trying to get some sort of insight. He hasn't really got in-game sound. Now when the in-game leader is the coach as well, he has the laptop. He's directly connected into the game. He can actually hear all the subtle nuances, like the footsteps. He can hear AWP shots going off, and he can actually make much more educated calls in that point, just because he's actually part of the game there. So Maniac, as someone who's just become a coach, do you feel like you'll be using the laptop going forward? Do you think it's something that's actually going to be like a...
Because Zeus, by the way, isn't. He's standing behind LG still.
Well, the thing is, for Maniac, it'll be a smooth transition because he'll be right next to the guys with a computer, not getting any kills, but watching all of them play really well and go, guys, come on, you can all do this. Like,
I accept that. I will accept this one. No, I think it's team choice. Some coaches are mostly here just to keep the guys in the right mindset and preparation.
I don't feel like you'll be like that, though.
Yeah, I think I am.
Give him a chance.
I don't think I have enough experience to know how you can actually use a coach as an in-game leader. I think it takes a lot of preparation, like back office work.
Sure.
Everyone has to actually do the tactics together for the coach that is outside of the game to actually be able to use the right tactic at the right timing. So if you really have this back office work and this preparation, maybe it could be actually useful. But I think it's pretty difficult to have.
Yeah, those things take time, right? You need like a few months at least. You can't just step in and say, "Oh, I'm going to be leading now, guys. I'm the coach." That's what I'm saying. That's the point. That bringing someone like you into Envious, it makes sense for you to eventually fill into that role. As you coming from an in-game leader background, it'd be something you can kind of maybe fall into and kind of see how that affects the lineup.
The key thing to me is it has to be a team like a G2, where they've got the skill players, but they don't have an obvious person who can even take the role on. Like, Rain's only doing it begrudgingly. Because I've always said the downside to it, if you don't have the really good guy who was formerly like a mastermind in-game leader, is then it's actually harder in some ways, because the in-game leader now has to control 5 people instead of 4. Before, at least, he could do one part of the role. So there's ups and downs. I think it'll depend very much on the lineup as to whether you want that sort of in-game leader.
This is the other aspect. Who's even available as a viable coach right now? Gobby comes to... yes, absolutely not.
One last thing to add to this whole coach thing as well. When you have the in-game leader who's part of the play as well, he's getting affected emotionally by the feeling of loss and the deficit that's coming towards you.
The feeling of loss.
You know, when you like,
Henry's
do you know what I mean? Though, like when you're having all the pressure on you, you've got to perform and make rational decisions as well. It seems like it's almost better to have someone who's like not so heavily invested into it emotionally, just so they can make the decisions. Right, we can see, all right, well, they're picking us off every single round. They're executing onto us after a minute each time. It seemed like G2, especially on their CT side, they didn't really bring the game to Luminosity whatsoever. They weren't making the calls like, let's send 2 people Ivy, let's send 2 people inside and go in an aggressive face towards it. They weren't really adapting their game. They were so far behind, and it seemed like they were a little bit cowering slightly just because they felt like they were so under pressure. They weren't really getting the money into a situation where you could actually justify those kind of calls. I guess that's the main thing. But you need someone who can just have an observation, say, well, you're losing this pick every single time. He's coming to you and getting that angle. Maybe this time we actually go for a push. We need to mix something up, get that first frag in our favour, so we at least take away that the risk of the execution coming in.
Yeah, I think another difficulty to have in-game leader being coach is that not only do you need someone that can regroup the team and focus on the mindset, you also need someone that the player trusts tactically on a tactical perspective and have enough respect to just do whatever he says. And I don't think there are many players right now, ex-players that are free and whose people think they are really relevant in the game and stuff. So that
and have strong enough personality.
I'll tell you one person that's going to be different for. Threat coming into an IP. I think that's going to be one person. That's the perfect coach you can have. Someone these guys
not
played
the
with.
new Envious coach, so I don't think he'll do any good at all.
No, absolutely. No, but say someone like Threat, who's played with them since like 2007. Like, get right, I've had conversations with him. He says he's a player he actually looks up to, and like he learned a lot from a Threat. Bring someone like him in, the players like respect, and he will actually have full control of it. It won't be the case of like he'll be giving his input. He'll actually have full reins of what's going on. So that's kind of in terms of like who you bring as a coach. Someone like Threat, someone who's like a real prolific player. Historically, that's like the perfect dream setup you can have.
I do think, though, in terms of the first map, going forwards in the tournament, whether they're the winners or the losers, it's a positive sign to see Luminosity has got kind of Train in their back pocket now, because with the old lineup, they didn't play Train. They started to play it with this new one, and now they've got a nice little streak going, actually, of wins over big teams. So if they add that into the Mirage and the Inferno and the Cash, now they're starting to get a decent map pool.
Well, gentlemen, I wanted to break down this map a little bit. We're going to get straight into it. I'm going to be interested to see how Banana Control comes out. That's the only way I can see LG even being shut down if G2 can try and establish some of that. But we already had our prediction. We already know where we sit. We all think 2-1. I have a feeling it might actually go 2-0 based on the first map. I'm going to send it right over. We're going to go straight into it because they are certainly ready after the knife round. Anders and Semler, please take it away.
Thank you very much. I've heard it that Sadikist himself has almost no control of his banana, but we're going to go into the game here, and it'll be G2, it looks like, starting on the CT side and Luminosity on the terrorist side. What do you think? I mean, that did look like a fairly convincing win for the Brazilian side, didn't it?
Yeah, it was everything I expected. Train a technical map where, if you have tactics, if you really do, have that real structure built around your roster, around your team, you should be able to handle most of the situations and be able to set them up for yourself. And we saw that come out from Luminosity. They looked a little shaky at the end of the first half there when, they started taking more aim duels. They got a little predictable with their setups, and G2 were able to take advantage of that. But then they, swapped sides and just rolled over the mixed roster. So. Inferno is another map that can be very solid for Luminosity, and the fact that it's still a very tactical map. A lot of it comes down to good, solid executes on the T side and making the right calls, which is something that Fallen and Zeus, with the coach behind him, should be able to come through here for Luminosity, or come up with rather for Luminosity. It's you know, Gamers 2, like, they really is going to a lot of this is going to come down to that CT side, whether they hit the headshots or not, basically. Because if they swap over to the T side and they kind of just have to Rambo around and hope, it's going to be, you know, a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I am curious. We didn't get to see much of.
Well, gonna come out? I think it's going to be a 2-0 for Luminosity, but
I think we're going to see coldzera come into this map in quite a different style than what we did on Train. I feel like this is more his kind of map. So I really want to see him go mad here. The G2 starting on the CT side, I think, is a big deal for them, especially if they could pick up this pistol round. They do have Diffuse Kit and a bit of smoke there on AZ. Otherwise, everyone is just equipped to fight. And on the Luminosity side, well, 4 armors. Again, nobody who's like a raid boss here. Instead, they got Fallen with the 1 smoke. Whenever I see just 1 smoke on this kind of round, I always think it's going to be B push.
And Gamers 2, you can see 3 players there. They might have expected a little bit of a rush, or at least a challenge Banana, because they had the man challenging mid as well. They were really looking to go aggressive here in this pistol round, Gamers 2. They wanted to get in here, get a frag really quick, but it didn't quite happen for them, and now they have to slow down the pace. They are still lying in wait, just baiting Luminosity in. But then Fallen, he's got that flash. There it is. Perfect. Perfect flash. Catches out Fox, and now the push begins here, and it's just going to be the straight-up Glock train onto this site. Great positioning from Jacob, though. He gets 2 headshots. They do manage to bring it back, though, Luminosity. They bring it back to a 2-on-2. They've got the bomb on the site as well, but those 2 headshots from Jacob, that was a thing of beauty.
Oh, and what a shame, because that was a great mind game. Luminosity did not count on the 3rd player being there, and that might have actually just cost them a lot. And there it is, AC, just rolling into the bomb site and shooting people in the face, and that was it. You gotta love that, right? Because they only see the first 2 people there. The flashbang works, they get the first kill. They know that Rain, or they think that Rain is the only other person in the bomb site, so they just try and hunt him down. Look, nobody's even looking this way. Easiest kill of Jacob's life.
Yeah, that they stack up for him as well like that. Super easy work. And, well, that's going to be painful. And, wow, we actually see Luminosity. They do not want to give up the control. Nice nade. Full damage onto FNX. He somehow dodges the second one. So, a little bit of a lucky break there for him. But then Michael charging down mid. He's going to be able to just wipe out Fallen. It is going to be FNX trying to stand his ground, but it's not going to be for long. And, well, this is not shaping up nicely here for Luminosity. In a 4-spy round, they've taken a lot of damage. And it's just slowed everything down here, allowing for Gamers 2 to get control of the situation. Although Jacob does get caught out here in mid.
Yeah, coldzera, easy. Almost a free kill there for him. Taco and Fur left to roam around just a little bit here, but not for long. And they only lose Jacob in that exchange, so pretty decent overall. It's 2nd round for them, and 3rd round coming up here. Gonna have to find out if Luminosity can at least do a little bit more damage. I feel like they need a couple of kills per round. We'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, this is also going to come down to Luminosity having to show us a little bit more fortitude, mental fortitude, basically, because they got the strong start on Train. They were able to apply the pressure early onto Gamers 2. Now the situation has changed. Now it's going to be Luminosity who are the ones playing on the back foot. So they have to worry about, you know, clawing their way back into the half here when the first buy round comes up for them. And that with limited resources. So Gamers 2 just keep bullying Luminosity. Good to see this as well. You know, these days with the pistols being so powerful, you know, it is a little scary to charge into close quarters against them, but Gamers 2 right now just showing no fear. They just charge all across the map. They beat up Luminosity. They don't lose a single player. And that's ideal here for the CT side.
You see that smoke they throw that actually lands at the ramp on T side? That's a bit rare. That doesn't happen too often. I mean, that's definitely a cool idea, and I agree. I mean, if on Inferno, if you start slow playing on the CT side and they have deagles and they get to take a couple of fights with you, I mean, that could be bad.
And you can have the mind game as well, where now you've trained them to think, okay, if that smoke comes in, it means somebody might be pushing down mid. It might buy a little bit more time here for Gamers 2. If they just want to throw that smoke out there, they could throw Luminosity for a little bit of a loop. But now, at least, it is going to be the full buy coming out here from Luminosity. They still are a little bit light on the nades, whereas Gamers 2, you can see, I mean, we've taken down quite a few seconds, and they've still got a fantastic nade count. So Luminosity, it's going to be done the hard way. They have to find the headshots, basically, here to set things up.
Right now, they're going to be able to. They've certainly cleared out the apartments, so they've got a bit of control on that side here. And otherwise, they're all still just waiting around middle and a little bit on banana. So they've got some good control on the map. They need to convert that into some sort of entry frag, and they're completely out of flashbangs. That worries me.
Yeah, that's a little bit scary. Because you need to just hit those shots when you come around the corner, and having a flash can make their lives a whole lot easier. You can see good crossfire established, but now once the seconds start to tick past, we're down to 50 seconds now. Gamers 2 start to fall back, play a little bit more passive. Fox was peeking at top banana, and he finds FNX. And only the one player there for Luminosity means Not a whole lot to go off of here for Gamers 2, although they are starting to rotate back over towards that A side. 35 seconds left, and this is it. They've made the call. They get the feeling that Luminosity are coming A. That's the correct call to make here. And Gamers 2, they're going to be set up.
Oh, but they're running this clock very low right now. I'm a bit scared. Jacob still has a Molotov as well. He's over at the B-bomb side. If he comes back in here, that could be trouble for the terrorist side. Rain spraying away. Michael helping out there. P90 in play, but Taco and Fur, they're bringing it back here. Bomb going to go down again. 10 seconds left now. They've got to get this bomb plant through. And it looks like they're going to be successful as well. It's going to be down to a couple of seconds, but now Fox and Jacob going to have to try to see if they can retake this. And again, that Molotov, I mean, a position like the one Cold is in right now, it could be lethal. There's a great shot from Fox, and now Cold trying to push out. He takes down Fox, turns around, looks for the frag, but he's not going to get it. There's the shot, and Jacob comes through with a bit of a clutch at the end and have plenty of time to defuse the bomb. So they lose a lot of players, but they win the round, and Luminosity are going to be a bit disappointed.
You know it's going to come up there at the end. We kind of missed it a little bit there because of the split screen, but yeah, solid hold there from G2 in the end with the 1v1 duel. I mean, it was just a must-hit shot there for Taco. He gets the job done, but then, of course, he can't come back around. And they are going to save that AWP for Fox, so that's key for G2 just to maintain their economy right now. It's so important to hold on to that expensive rifle. And Fox, I mean, he hit two very good shots in that last round, so good to see that he's actually, you know, feeling it a little bit here because he had a slow start at the beginning of Train. Free fire, and FNX, he opens it up, but he does not know that somebody's holding close to... Oh, he still hits a headshot! He was supposed to die there. Jacob, big mistake on his part.
Wow, there's no accounting for that. It's sort of stuff that actually happens sort of every once in a while on Inferno, but you just start winning rounds like that. Michael though, bringing it back, falling in FNX. What are they doing? Finally, Cole comes in with a headshot there, but that's almost giving away the round. That's pretty much a sure win, and Cole gonna go nuts a little bit and actually get a double kill of his own. Bomb will go down, but that's such a mindless play coming out from Fallen and FNX. That shouldn't be happening.
Well, FNX in particular, right? The double. I mean, he takes out the one man. That is good. You know, that's just pre-fire. He had the feeling that Fox was going to re-peek. Fox plays right into his hands. But then the second headshot on Jacob, that it should have been Jacob just snuffing him, done. And instead, it's FNX who turns everything around. They could have thrown it away, though, Luminosity, with Cold getting a little bit too confident with that bomb. He was peeking into construction with it, and that's an issue. If he dies, bomb is dropped in construction, that buys a little bit of time for G2 to rotate in. It could be a different situation there for Luminosity. Luckily for him, he did get the kills in the end, so Luminosity were able to keep control of the situation, get the bomb plant, and even they've now got Fox's op. So Fallen, he's going to be happy to have that in the next round, considering they didn't have the money to buy one of their own. 6 frags, though, for Cold. And you pointed him out at the beginning. Anders, you pointed it out at the beginning. Nose bleeding? Did somebody, like, inadvertently punch somebody in the face? What's going on here? That's literally the first time I've ever heard of that happening.
Even our admins are thinking, what is this? I have no idea.
Pressure. Pressure's too much, Anders.
Everything okay. Apparently everyone is fine, so...
Some high-grade Adderall.
I punched Fallen, sorry.
I punched Fallen inside. Cold punched Fallen in the face.
It's worse than forgetting a passport. Good try, Michael. I like that. Oh, God.
Okay, then. I hope you guys can see this on the stream. Yeah, I think you guys are. But...
Yeah, I think you should be
Wait, so is Fallen. Taco. He's good looking. Cold just looks way too happy to have just punched his in-game leader in the face. Fallen has got to look at that, man. Well, okay then.
This is intense, man. You know, blood pressure is rising on either team apparently.
Yeah, and it is going to be rising here on G2, man. They're going to be feeling the pressure. Jacob is going to be feeling a little bit let down after his performance in that last round, missing that key shot, which should have been a guaranteed shot on FNX, 100%, but he wasn't able to pull it off. So, you know, G2, it didn't go their way on Train. So there is quite a bit of pressure on their shoulders right now to pull it off here on Inferno to get that map win and keep them in this best-of-3 series. Because if they lose it, that's it. They're done. They're going down to the lower bracket match.
I might want to fight Cold Zero sort of in real life if I was fighting someone from LG. The person I wouldn't fight on that team is Fur.
Really?
Yeah. He has that look.
That look in his eyes?
Yeah. It's not about strength, man. It's about mentality. Fur's got it. You can tell.
Fur is kind of skinny though, Anders. I mean, I think that you could like break him by giving a bear hug. Just saying.
I don't know. I think you might be underestimating him there. But luckily, nobody's fighting anybody from Luminosity except themselves.
Right? What is this?
I don't know. 4-1 right now, and LG finally coming up with a round, but they need more than one. I mean, I think sort of 5, and we're into somewhat of comfort zone here for them on the first half, so still some distance to go, and because G2 could buy once again, including that AWP on Fox, they've got a lot of work ahead of them.
They're not getting... This is actually some admirable play coming out here from G2. Not challenging anywhere. Really trying to run down this clock. They saw that Luminosity, they're willing to execute late. Good use of nades there. Maybe just a little bit of damage. Fallen trying to get lucky with a shot onto Coils. He's not going to find the angle. And really, right now, I mean, we're down to 30 seconds again here, Luminosity. You need to start deciding where you want to go. Rain will find the kill on Taco. That was up in apartment, so that should be a bit of a giveaway here. 20 seconds left. They're not even into the site yet. Great flash and double kill, just like that. This is some Na'Vi level play, Anders. Leaving it down to 20 seconds, not a kill, and then Fallen just obliterates Michaelele.
That was a weird hold coming out from the G2 side, though, because I could kind of understand why they'd want to play that corner with the AWP, with Fox playing there.
Sure. But
he was just strafing back and forth and shooting wildly. There was no real cover. He wasn't holding the angle. He was just, you know, sort of dancing around on the angle, which is not quite the same thing. And then we had Jay come inside the bomb site, and he was holding just far enough back that they could push with the initial smoke and get close to him. So that was a strange setup. I had no idea why G2 would want to do that. Rain trying to hold on to the rifle, not going to be successful. A bit cold with another double kill, and yeah, just moving on and making a good Fallen.
Cold being very careful there with the high five.
Gonna have to, yeah.
You don't want to high five your in-game leader in the face.
Chill for a second here.
Keep it cool. Keep it cool.
All right. Well, I don't know what kind of timeout is. A medical timeout? We've got tactical, technical, medical timeout.
I mean, you get an injury. Yeah, there you go. I mean, you know, all the sports fans out there are just kind of chuckling to themselves, like, oh, this happens all the time in sports, but you know, we don't really see it too often. You don't really get punched in the face too often playing CS. Just saying.
Sure. I mean, if this was MMA, you know, you'd keep going. But if you get blood in that keyboard, it's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not. It could malfunction.
It's just like the real warrior, right? You know, it's like you come back to Fallen and he played through that round, 3 frags, he's got blood all over his face.
Yeah. It short circuits the keyboard and he gets electrocuted and it transfers his soul into the game. It's like the plot of a movie right here.
True immortality. I mean,
surely though it had to be Neo for that to happen. You know, just get in there.
I don't know about that. Neuromancer, man, you know, he just gets absorbed into it, and that's it. The next step. That's like the, you know, that, Anders, that is going to be the true immortality, right? It's not living in a, you know, weak, fleshy body that's going to get it done. No, it's putting your personality into the web. Then they can't kill you, man. That's it. You could be everywhere and nowhere.
I could. I know which part of the web I'd be on, though.
What, like 90% of it, whatever the percentage is these days?
Oh yeah, exactly. I see what you're going with this.
Unlimited power.
Yeah. Well, we've got Gabriel back in his seat, so that's good news. I mean, right now, I've got to say, both of the rounds that they've won so far on the Brazilian side shouldn't be particularly sort of repeatable, right? We're talking about rounds where they're successful because they get like 2 entry frags on the B-bomb side. Sure. Normally, you shouldn't really be able to do that. I mean, the way you try and win a round is you'd put down good smokes and flashbangs to zone out whoever is playing inside the B-bomb site, and maybe you can overpower him before backup shows up. And if you do that, maybe you get the bomb down and then try and sort of fight for the afterplant, and you're successful, right? But you can't just have a strategy that says, let's just try and double entry every time on B, right? So at some point, that's not going to be an option anymore for the terrorist side. And they're going to have to come up with something else. On the other hand, if G2 keep opening themselves up to that kind of thing, then maybe they'll just keep doing it. But I doubt that. I think they'll have to switch it around at some point.
And, you know, reading the writing on the side of the hat there for Fox, that's really cool of the Fox fans to send that to him, you know?
What does it say? I can't tell.
That's looking out. Best ever.
All right, then.
Boom. He's challenged a little bit, Fox. He managed to actually hit some shots. But yeah, it's definitely cooled off here a little bit for G2. This is where it really starts to get complicated for them. You got to hope that they've been talking during this extended pause that they've had here, and they have to try and figure out what the next play is going to be here, because we see a hard eco from them pretty much. PG50 picked up on Rain with a single flash, and that flash can be worth so much, especially if you're stacking up on the B site like this. But Fallen is playing it very carefully. There is one man up close that's cold.
Oh, you wish that would have been an
There's a
easy
flash.
grenade. Yeah, you're right. They are going to flash their way out, and Fox with the first kill. Fallen actually trapped behind the wood stacks here. He's going to be doing good damage, and Fur coming in to help out, madly jumping around with the Mag-10. Fallen finally going to go down, so successful round so far. 2 kills, picking up an AK, looking for another one, but Fox is going to go down, and Fur in turn will pick up 2 with the SMG. And look how, I mean, LG saw all of this coming. They had a lot of SMGs on that side. They knew that this was a chance for them to build some money. That's going to put the scoreline at 4-3.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that, though. If you're going to have 1 SMG, maximum 2 SMGs. If you're going like 3 or 4 SMGs, it's like you're never going to get enough kills to make that worthwhile. You're just not going to make that money back. So in 1 round, right? Unless it's a double eco situation, but they know it's not going to be. So I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of a questionable buy in my opinion for Luminosity. And they lose the AK as well because both the AK and the AWP were playing in Banana. They lost both of those players, and only one guy got over there fast enough to pick up the AWP to save it. But that means he has to sack the AK. So, yeah, not ideal round there for Luminosity if we're looking at the details.
Rain being traded, the bomb is down towards Quad, and it's going to be a lot more trading going on, and it's favoring LG at the moment, 2 versus 3. And Fox and Jacob, I don't think they have the money to try and go for this retake. I mean, it's one of those situations where if you can get a quick kill within the first sort of 10 seconds of the retake, maybe you try and go for it, but that's not happening, it seems. In fact, Fox is going down instead, and Jacob... Why is everyone called Lele in this team afterwards? Surely that has to stop, Samler.
It did stop with Fox.
Yeah, good job, Fox.
Fox just, too mature for that childish behavior. Only problem is he decided to peek Fallen, and you don't mess with the Padre.
Got himself killed.
Yeah, look at this. That's also really well done there by FNX. He comes over, I don't know what he was thinking when he saw that AWP, but I wonder if he went over there just to make sure that AWP was still around. If he didn't spot it, then they would have known. That would have been valuable information. But he stops Jacob from saving that AWP for Fox in the next round. So that was actually really solid at the end there for as far as economy control for Luminosity. And well, yeah, back to eco situation here for G2. Anders, it's not looking too hot here for the mix.
It's most definitely not, and I mean, again, a decent start, and as soon as Luminosity see the opportunity, they bounce right back into it. So a little bit scary here. Fox moving forward, nice position with the 5-7. Gonna pick up the first kill there, but can't get a second one in Fur. He's gonna reply, taking down Michaelele. And are they gonna realize that there's a bit of a trap going on here?
Third man didn't show himself though, but then they're taking so much time here, Luminosity. Not sure if they were able to get eyes onto CT. Smoke goes down onto CT. We should have a Molotov going on to first Oranges, and they will be able to pick up the first shot. And Fox, he's still alive here with the 5-7, so they know, Luminosity, now that there were 3 players on this B site. That should give them ample information. Brave play here from Fallen, just charging in alone. Nobody there to back him, but they are going to be able to get into the site afterwards pretty quickly here, Luminosity. Now it's just down to, well, AZ Lele and Reyna Lele.
Jesus. We got the UMP, but not much else, and I don't see them doing much in this round. If they can steal a couple of rifles and run away, that would definitely be preferable, but Luminosity playing this one very defensively. FNX and Fur are low, but I don't think that G2 realize that. I don't think they can know, so it's hard for them really to make a play based on that. And AZ's going to get shot down by Cold, and that will be the round here. Luminosity now taking the round lead and making it 5-4 as we move into the 10th round. But nobody's really doing badly on G2, and that's the same was true on Train. Nobody was doing badly for this team. They all were sort of performing in a fairly steady level. And the only one this time on Luminosity is Taco, but he was doing so well on Train. We can allow him a bit of a break, can't we?
Yeah, you can let it slide on one map. It's not the end of the world. Especially when, Fallen seems to still be just hitting really solid shots. I mean, so far, things are looking pretty good here for Luminosity. There's the early shot here from Fox. Just a little bit too predictable as far as the angle is concerned. Molotov is going to go down, though, and there it is. Fox, he's there to guard his teammates back. Jacob still alive. He's holding right on the edge of this, and he is going to get the job done. Taco just continues his bit of a rough ride here, not able to bring it back here for his team. Michaelele, no, Rain and Michaelele both will get caught out at main, though, so that's really not going to help. How did G2 lose this situation? And Fallen, does he spot the man in pit? He does, and he takes a bullet to the face.
Well, Ace, he's going to have to try and bring this back. He needs to stay alive for a while. Otherwise, the bomb's going to go down, and it'll be another tricky retake here. Fur going to finally drop him down, but they're both low on health. It is Fur and Cold, though. Oh, that's a nice shot right through the edge of the corner. Fox picks him up, and now it will be down to Fur. Bomb is trapped in the middle with about a minute left here, and they've got a great crossfire setup. Fur, any bullet, and he's going to be pretty much gone. Jacob so close to catching him on the edge there. But this shouldn't be a round that they should be giving away.
It's actually the best. Well, no, not once he moves. But had first sat there. I mean, that's just unfortunate for Fur, because if he sits there another 3 seconds, he catches out the man coming around the corner, and then he actually catches the repeat from Fox as well. But yeah, Fox, talk about the key shot. Wow, split-second shot, and he lands it.
But the fact is, it should have never got that badly out of control. How did Michaelelli and his teammate lose that mid-control there?
Coming through smoke as well on Luminosity side.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like they got flashed. It's just Luminosity charged through the smoke and landed 2 shots.
Oh, look at this. Fox aggressively clearing the middle, pushing up on his own with an AWP. That's a slightly scary play there, but he gets a bit of information and decides to fall back instead. Scoreline is tied at 5-5, and again, another triple stack towards the B-bomb side here. G2 really seem to love doing that.
They really are playing in on Luminosity, trying to get early banana control. And it seems like G2 want to be in position to be able to get that punish out there, falling with a little bit of a cheeky boost. But G2 haven't really been holding behind new boxes either. They really are favoring, that CT oranges crossfire here that we're seeing. Jacob playing at first oranges, and then the man holding in CT as well. Really not holding from the back site. So Pollen isn't going to get rewarded this time. But still, decent situation here for Luminosity. They still have 3 smokes, so this gives them some options. They can still open up that A side if they want to. And AZ getting the drop on Taco as well. It's really not going to help Taco, who's already struggling in this first half, to just keep getting bopped on the nose like this.
And AZ, he knows, he knew for a second there that they were all on banana. Now he knows that they're back in the middle, and he actually gets himself killed, which is a little bit of a shame, because you could tell he was wanting to play that one defensively, so you just keep an eye on them and know where they were.
Yeah.
That doesn't work out, and now if they get back into this round here, LG, that's going to be horrific, obviously, for the G2 team. Fallen opening up with a second kill now, pushing into the bomb site, trying to clear the angles, and inside, Jacob is alone, and backup is miles away. They know where he is, and Fur will shut him down. Easy kill with the AK, and Rain and Michaelele can't do anything. That's again, the sort of round you have to win. You get that kill in second mid, you know where the entire terrorist team is, and you have a man advantage.
Super solid as well by Fur. He could have been brave, he could have been greedy and gone out to hunt in the CT side, but he wasn't sure if both players were there. So now it's a little bit more of a delayed hunt through. They clear out banana, they're going to clear out second mid. And unfortunately for Luminosity, I don't know, due to the hesitation on first part, or the safe play rather, it should be G2 holding on to both of their guns here.
Yeah, but that's all they'll have for the upcoming round. This is just a lot of these rounds for G2 have started off so well and been finished so badly on their part. Rain gonna end up going down. That's 1 rifle lost. Oh, Michaelele
so close.
That was scary for a minute.
You see that guy's head come around an apartment door, you're just like, ah! Just a split second longer there, and they would have lost both guns. Just the 1 player surviving, though. And you're right, look at this. The money right now is just so low for G2. Taunted 2,000.
If you think about it for a second here, I mean, like, Luminosity is obviously a very good team, right? And yet, the stress of calling them has sort of let Fallen to a nosebleed. It's a wonder that people like Sean Gez are even still alive in the NA scene, right?
And looking so damn good.
Looking so damn good.
Well, what's a little uglier here, though, is G2, man, look at this force by... This is a Hail Mary if ever you've seen one. They realize they've completely lost control of the situation. Luminosity up to 6 rounds on T-side. Inferno is a fantastic scoreline for Luminosity. And if it gets any further than this, G2, they're going to be in a world of hurt. So they decide to go for the big risk here. They just invest all their money in this round in the pistols. And we'll see if it pays off. Cold, just applying a little bit of pressure up here in apartments. Might get around to clearing it eventually, but they really haven't actually shown too much interest in A apartments so far, Luminosity. So G2 trying to go for a bit of a gamble here, hoping that they are going to actually just walk into their clutches here with a crossfire up in apartments like this. 2 players just waiting.
And it's not working out. Setting up for a bit of a push towards Archway, and they clear it out quite nicely, which means Cold and Fur are now checking the A-bomb side out and getting that kill on Michaelele leaves Rain alone. C set in hand, And you're right. I mean, it was a big risk for them to buy in this round. They did it to try and bring it back in. Instead, what they've done is actually given Luminosity a really, really strong start here to the first half. 7-5 being the scoreline. And again, Inferno's one of those maps, like I think one of the few that's left, where you can really get some strong lockdowns on the CT side.
Absolutely. Once it's similar to what we saw on Train, at least at the beginning of the half, where Luminosity they had the money for the nades, incendiaries, HEs, just kept throwing out anti-rush nades. It's the same concept for Inferno, although teams are holding on to their incendiaries till later on in the rounds. At least in the European meta, you know, they hold on to the incendiaries to try and buy more time to stack them up with the smokes rather than use them to control, you know, parts of the map, which is what the NA side does seem to favor. If you get that nade control, if you get that money, it's so hard to come back from that on the T side, you know, to put a stop to the momentum that the CT side will have once they're rich.
Right now, LG, everything seems to be going their way. Fox even going to land that shot on Rain, which is going to leave AZ all alone inside here in a 1-on-5, looking for a shot on anybody. It's going to be Cold, take one to the face, but it's another round one. It's going to be 5 and 8 here. And I don't know what to say. I mean, this starting to get a little bit worrying. I'm sort of wondering how G2 now can switch up their style a bit. They have a lot of problems now. One of them is that they're also running out of money to even buy these grenades that we've been talking about. So maybe playing it more aggressively. They did that earlier. They didn't have the advantage of having rifles versus no rifles, but still, it's a play they might want to consider at this point in time.
This is where you'd love to see that aggressive smoke come down. Although Fur is just like, yeah, respect, what's that? Nah. You get nothing. You get none of that from me. I'm just going to go straight up the top mid and hope that somebody's peeking. He might get his wish here. There it is. There's the peek. And Fallen actually the one to take out Fox. And now Fur's in position to take the man on Arch, but he realizes, actually, I can wait to see if they're going to go for the aggressive push because my man Fallen just opened up the map for us. Put the pressure on G2. He got that opening pick over on B, the second kill on B as well. I'm really surprised, actually, to see the bomb still hanging around over here on A site. FNX has now cleared out the B site. And yeah, now finally that bomb is heading into mid, up banana towards the B site, where it's going to be a free plant for Luminosity and a catastrophe for G2.
What is with these Brazilian players and pushing through the smoke like that? Because they did it in the middle when they beat Michaelele, and FNX just did it over at the main entrance to B as well. Walking through the smoke, Michaelele is there. He should have got the kill, he didn't, and now Rain and AZ just stuck in the A-bomb site, trying to salvage whatever is left here as we go into the last round of the half any second now. This is a real power performance from Luminosity in the first half.
And it's even worse for G2 because Fur hung out on the A site. So he's like, okay, they haven't gone anywhere, guys. I haven't heard anybody step mid or short or basically anywhere on this side of the map. So they're just sitting and waiting. And AZ is giving away his position in pit. Rain will find FNX, though, so that's a little bit of a wake-up call there for Luminosity. Fur with a nice shot onto Rain, though. The spray down, and Cold is going to be in position to go ahead and hunt them out. AZ stands his ground. He's actually still alive here in pit. Goes for the shoulder peek, baits it out. He's going to make it as expensive as possible here for Cold. And stay alive as well. Nicely done there by AZ. But it's the 15th round, Anders. And they have $3,000 across the board on G2's side. So straight up force buy. And AZ, yeah, you need full nades in a kit. Do not drop anything for your mates. Yeah, you have to take the hit here.
Wow, I think everybody was expecting that it would probably be 3 maps. At least it was likely that it could have been, and maybe even some close ones. But right now, LG are on a completely different level here. Jacob, Fox both going down early on here, and it's going to leave it in a 3-on-5. See what they could do. This is very interesting. I know that Luminosity have been practicing a little bit more since Christmas than G2 have. And sure, Michaelele was a bit late to the party here because of some passport issues, let's say. But still, it seems like all of Luminosity right now are just on a different level.
Yeah, it's really refreshing to see, actually. There's well, aggressive push here, but it's going to get punished here by Cold. Michael not able to get anything out of that. 2-on-4 situation should be an unlosable situation here for Luminosity. They should close this out 10-5. But you're right. It's good to see Luminosity really hold their own here and show that G2 are not a team to be taken lightly, and Luminosity are able to beat them up, to beast them. So that's really got to be, putting the Tier 1 teams here that are in this tournament. We have 3 of the top teams in the world in Group B alone. It's going to be putting them on notice. saying, hey, you know, DreamHack winner wasn't a fluke. We can still mess you up. You still got to take us seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely will be as well. I think Luminosity for a long time has been one of the most interesting teams to watch. So
only problem for
they're
Luminosity,
living
though,
up to that now.
is that they have Na'Vi in their group, and that's never a pleasant time. It always seems like Luminosity, they aren't quite able to get the job done versus Na'Vi. So you know, this is the first hurdle, but Na'Vi is the big colossus that Luminosity are going to be looking at, saying, okay, how do we beat them, boys? Because I don't think they've done that in the past.
Well, I mean, they're going to have a little bit of time to look at it. So, you know, with the help of Zeus in the background there, I mean, I think it's possible for them to come up with some good stuff there. I wonder how the map pulls are going to be turning out, though. That could potentially be interesting, I think.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a fantastic match.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that puts it to an end for the first half. Scoreline being 10-5, favoring Luminosity on the less favored side, Terrace side there. Going into the second half, I don't know what it takes at this point to get G2 back in this game. They don't seem particularly fired up, and I actually think sort of a strength of this team is that they seem to not take very many things like too much at heart. They seem to be joking about everything, sort of, you know, it's all good, let's just have a good time. And I think that attitude can help a lot if you're behind, if you can just keep it up. But right now they need a strong round here, and it's going to be almost all armor. Michael setting up the flashbang somewhere. He's got it in hand. It's going to be popped into the middle, and Fur is definitely flashed in that corner. Taco takes one down. Fur gets a parting shot. Headshot right at AC. And Jacob, well, he's going to get a kill, but Fox goes down, and now it's on to a 2-on-4. They're pushing in here towards the B-bomb site, but they're going to get shot down. I mean, the flashbang worked. It was the only thing that worked, Semler.
Yeah, right? And he still gets a kill. He still stays up long enough. He stays alive long enough to take one of your team with you. With him, rather. That's...
Yeah.
That is not good for G2. Some would even say. Well, I don't know. They got
maybe not the final nail in the coffin, but
it's close.
It's getting there, right?
It's definitely close. As my cable gets caught on the back of the chair. Fantastic, nearly taking my head off. And look at this. Luminosity giving G2 a taste of their own medicine, charging down mid. Big pressure here onto G2. And well, Jacob should not be able to get that kill on Fallen, but he succeeds in doing so. So a little bit more expensive here, but then Cold through the smoke is going to find the headshot on Rain, and that's yeah, that's pretty much it.
Welcome to like the really ugly side of Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Where people just run and spray through smokes and somehow land headshots.
It's kind of hard to analyze that.
No analysis possible. Just have to accept that happens sometimes. Cold, though, definitely coming into this game, which is great news. I like seeing the fact that the rest of Luminosity work like they did on Train, even though he wasn't carrying them. But it's also important to know that he's not like somehow mentally out of it or something for this tournament, you know? So yeah, he gets a chance to shine here, and he definitely is 12-5. And look at FNX pushing forward here right into a bunch of unarmored terrorists. He's got the SMG in hand. He's going to get a couple of kills with it, and this is just looking great. He goes down initially, or eventually, and Jacob actually picking up a couple of kills here, but still shouldn't be an issue for them to close out this round. They are going to get a bomb plant, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a little bit too greedy. They take way too much damage and allow for a bomb plant. This shouldn't be possible. This is as good a situation. Yeah, exactly. No heroics there from Jacob at the end, but still. This is so much better than G2 could have expected out of this round. They didn't have any investment in the round, hardly. They didn't have Kevlar, they didn't have nades. It's just kind of like, okay, well, guys, we're going to cross our fingers and hope that we can get the bonus money, and Luminosity actually gifted to them. So, not ideal, far from it here. And I think Luminosity, they'll realize they made just a little bit of a mistake there, giving G2 a little bit more room to work with here in the next round.
Well, this is going to be sort of an all-or-nothing situation here. We've got 13-5 as a scoreline. And G2, they're going to have to really show us something. They do have a lot of weapons for it, but no AWP. And Fallen has his on the other side, so they can't just be completely careless either end. Well, that was kind of a careless play from Rain there.
That was brutal. He throws down the Molotov. He's expecting that Molotov to just get him that half second to allow him to get behind Woodlogs. But they weren't interested. Fur's just like, nope. Goes right through it and takes that fight straight up. Retains control. Great spray here, actually, and they do manage to dodge most of the bullets. They're looking for another lucky shot through, and Michael Lele just barely dodging. It's instead going to be Fallen to take out AZ, but that was up in A apartments. So now G2, things are going to get nasty. And oh, what a play here from Fur, but pre-fire from Jacob shuts them down.
Oh, you love that, though. Putting up the flashbang behind himself. Cold is going to go down as well. Mike picking up the kill, and that's going to be even into 3-on-3. Nice smoke here to make the cross a little bit more safe, and well, they should be able to get the bomb plant rather easily, and because FNX is low, they definitely have a big advantage going into this after plant. Now they just need to play this one smartly, and they are playing very defensively. 1 in the corner, 2 in the corner, so a bit of a mind game. I don't think it'll be too much of a convincing mind game because they can pretty much guess where the third player is going to be once they kill the first 2, if they do.
Yeah.
I still kind of like it, but it's not as good as it could have been.
No, this is really nasty. Jacob is set up. I mean, there's a spot, but Michael Lele lands a shot onto Taco, who just continues to have a hard time, and they aren't going to make it out of this. Make it out of here in one piece. Fallen be the last man alive here. Pre-fire coming in from Jacob. He's not able to get the follow-up, and instead it's going to be Fox to land the headshot on Fallen and actually pick up an AWP for free. And back-to-back rounds where the B defense, they're getting a little too happy. I mean, when you manage to shut down, actually get a 2-man advantage. You know, it looks flash to go through that smoke like that and, you know, go for the big play and the highlight reel, yeah, triple flash and then triple spray down, all that. But actually what happens is he just throws away the round because then G2 are like, oh, okay, so there's only going to be one guy over here now, if anybody. Let's go and put the pressure on B. And it just all falls apart based off of one decision.
I was getting excited over that flashbang, but I think you're right. It definitely,
Hindsight, right?
did give a little bit too much away. Taco up here, C-set in hand, and you're getting close as AC. Actually, you'd think he'd probably back off in that situation because it's a bit scary, but he's been playing very well. I think he's top fragging again for G2, like he was on train throughout.
Yeah, AC just continues to maul people. This is why he was brought on to G2, much to you know, Dignitas's chagrin. They weren't able to hold on to him, but he is definitely one of the up-and-coming players here in the top tier in Europe. You know, Fur looking for the Juan, and he doesn't find him.
Instead, Cold inside the bomb site. He's got a little bit of backup, but that's already gone. He gets the one shot in, gets a second headshot, 2 bullets left. Oh, he actually hits Rain. Look at that. Fox, I think, maybe down to 6 health and Fallen, whereas he's miles away with that AWP. So Fox almost shooting his teammate then. A little bit crazy.
Didn't he shoot his teammate?
Yeah,
I thought he did.
Maybe he did.
Saw Michael in the back.
That was solid work from Cold, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he nearly gets a triple kill off of one clip on the CZ as well. Like, that is hard to do, but it's such a brutal position to play from when you're up short like that. You just, if a CZ's on the other side and the guy's hitting shots, he knows what he's doing, you're going to rue the day you decided to peek. And while Fallen's expecting the backstab, but he might get shanked instead. He does manage to make it back up to top banana. So if he can hold on to this AWP, that would be pretty big. I mean, G2 should have the money to buy full in the next round. It's a question of whether they want to risk throwing away their guns right now. And it doesn't look like it. They want to hold on to the AWP. They want to hold on to the gear on Michaelele. And Will Fallen's going to be able to survive the round with his own AWP. So still looking good here for Luminosity. They only need 3 rounds to close this out here in the first half. Or rather, in the first half, the second half now.
Yeah, they're a whole map up, having already won on train, and you're right, another 3 rounds would do it. G2, this would be a sick comeback if they can make it work. I'd be quite impressed if they manage to bring it back right now, even if they've got the economic advantage. And look at Luminosity, though. They buy C-set 75 behind that saved AWP and armor as well. They want to finish this game, and they want to do it right now.
Yeah, they can actually do it. This is a safe buy on their side of Quasi from Luminosity. It's a bit of a gamble. It's an outside chance that they can lock down the round here and just end it completely for G2, and then they're giving themselves the best chance possible in the next round. So it's still looking pretty good. Oh, the wall bang! And Fur, man, he's got ice cold blood. He lines them up, and he nearly takes them both out. He doesn't get the second kill, but that sets it up for Taco to take a peek and get some action. FNX in mid, and he gets the double spray, and it just completely falls apart here for G2. Luminosity, they go for the halvesy buy, and well, Fox, he's going to annihilate FNX, but he will not get the follow-up. Fallen is there to ruin his day.
C-set 75 is in action. What year is this, Hamler? I am confused.
2014, what's going on?
Wow.
Look at this, though. Fur, he does 2 shots. He probably felt the wind go by.
Yeah, that's a bit scary, but a very, very good job overall here. And Luminosity, I mean, if things went bad for G2 already, they're making sure that this is not going to turn out in their favor. Now they've got the money. They've stolen a couple of rifles here, and we'll see if G2 could bring it back here. AWP, AK, and a lot of Tech 9s, and FNX going to win the first fight there, but Fallen will go down. Fox taking him out. That's still a decent trade.
And they actually lose control of that AWP as well, so Jacob, he could pick that up if he wanted to. There's the flash to open it up. Now he's got the gun, and if Taco decides to peek, it's going to get toasty in here. He's got to run for it, and he makes it out just by the skin of his teeth. Nice save, but what a shot from Jacob. That's that feeling. That's that gut feeling where you're like, yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of damage from this Molotov, but it's going to be worth it.
Slightly scary. Inside the A bomb site, FNX very low on health from earlier on.
Like that, start of the year, first tournament for you, that is not a fun feeling at all.
No, and I look forward to seeing them bounce back. I think they definitely can, but that was obviously that was a rough ton of events. I think they were happy enough with the map picks, but obviously LG just looking more confident. And you wondered about that as well, because they intended that one Brazilian event, and then they had to travel here. I think their travel time wasn't too bad. They told me that it was sort of reasonable. They think they went to France and then they went here. But still, that is a lot of travel.
Jet lag, right?
Yeah.
And you walk in, I walk in over there, and there's just like, you know, they're like leaning over in their seats and everything, waiting for their match. And I'm like, oh my, you know, get some coffee in these guys, please.
I feel that too, so I know what they feel like.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long.
It's been rough, but look, we are gonna jump into a quick commercial break. Then we'll go to the analyst desk.
E-Gaming Bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
Well, G2 struggles definitely continuing. It's been a while since they've been in a LAN performance, but that one, it was hardly a performance at that. Meanwhile, LG, that's pretty convincing, throwing down the gauntlet, coming off a big victory at the Brazilian tournament, and they look unfazed in this challenge.
I think that's a massive point here. The fact these guys look so hot coming out of that Brazilian tournament obviously wasn't top tier or anything. They're only playing against local teams, but it seems to put them in great stead, set them up very nicely for this one. G2 look like they haven't had any practice whatsoever. They're looking very lackluster in some very important situations. There's one that comes to mind especially is towards the end there. They get the 4-on-2 or 4-on-3 it was, not covering the flanks, no one really communicating properly. Everyone, so there's just tunnel vision on making sure they got the frag towards CT spawn. And it seems like they've got some serious issues to recover from if they're going to go further in this tournament.
I mean, that makes sense then. The Brazilians, they were over there. They were at the Brazilian tournament, Max 5 Invitational, whatever it was called. They were playing against some players who aren't top-tier players, but who speak Portuguese. Primed them to play against Fox, obviously, in this game. That worked out well for him. No, but if you look at this matchup, this really is the matchup of the two teams who, you look at the end of last year, and you were like, these two teams are the ones battling to get into the top
picture,
5
by
or
the way.
6.
I just want to point out, AZ's
so
apparently
AZ
on
is
the
now
team
part
now.
of...
I think they're showing who's the best players of the server.
See the words,
You're right. Okay, I'm sorry.
What you do is that you get the words and you
read.
read them, and then you put them together in your brain, and they tell you something.
I'm sorry.
There we go. So obviously that does paint a huge picture, though. We've got 5 of the best players on the server. 4 of them are Brazilian. Only AZ is really stepping up for that side. He was great on train. Not so great on the Inferno, but it's very difficult to perform when you have that kind of deficit going into it. But having 4 players who are top fragging for the Brazilian side, what more is there to say? Is obviously they're hitting all the shots. Fallen, another great performance on Inferno, making the AWP do some serious work. And the fact is, G2 had a great... what's happened there?
No, he's just still laughing
He
at
just
me.
thought he had like the best analysis. Hey, look at him, idiots! They've only put AZ on that team.
It just looks
oh,
like a
look
team
at they put
photo.
Rain
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
He's not on their team. Silly score guy.
So we've changed it now. What's the change happening there, Matt?
This is the individual
I'm so confused
match,
right
I
now,
think.
Matt. Can you please explain to me
I
what this
have no
means?
it's not
idea.
individual
I have no-
maps.
It's on
It's not.
entry kills now. Look at the yellow one, guys. It's pretty... How can you guys make a mistake
know.
like that?
Well
It's
then.
these cues.
FNX, he had some amazing rounds in that Inferno match. That CZ play when it was like 13-8, like a huge round for them. They completely saved. He gets 3 kills from Boiler. And the point I was making before is G2 actually had a great start to this one. They won the pistol, got the first gun round. It's then Luminosity. This went a lot looser. We talked about, Matt, you touched on it. Like, they have this amazing B execute coming into it, and like we expect that from them. It was actually a very loose play style from them on their T side. They're actually just focusing on rushing B, just getting straight in there, finding those frags and getting key exchanges. It was just good Counter-Strike. It wasn't anything too technical.
It's very rare I've seen them walk into that B site without using Molotovs. Twice they did it in this game and just walked in and won the duels. They also walked into A the same way. They were winning aim duels. Like, G2 wasn't even in it. Maniac, thoughts from you on G2's lackluster performance? That's a bit of an issue.
That is, absolutely. Obviously, they must not be happy about their performance on those 2 maps. And I hope they will not fall into the trap of thinking, yeah, well, tomorrow we have an easy game, we have Cyberzen, and then we can come back into the tournament and stuff. That would be a very silly mistake. They really have to take that match extremely seriously, and not only because they have to win to stay in the tournament, but because they have to put themselves in a great mindset if they hope to do something in that tournament.
You say that's tomorrow, by the way. That's not. That's
it's
right
actually
now.
today.
Yeah, that's tonight.
You're right.
That comes up right away. So we're looking at the bracket right now, just to give you guys an idea. We have it's a simultaneous stream, so both matches are going on at the same time. There will be a secondary stream for the lower bracket, but the winners match comes up right away. So Navi plays LG. That's always an awesome match. I always enjoy that series for obvious reasons. They've got mirrored play styles, and it's been close, even though it's 8-1 in map score in favor of Navi. But you're right. That CyberZen game, I mean, Yanko made this bold prediction. Man, could he ever look like the genius of the tournament?
Yeah, I think, judging what I've just seen from G2, only AZ is really stepping up there. They've got a couple of players that are actually missing from the server. Like Fox was the name that came to mind there. Although he has had, towards the end of 2015, he actually had some very strong performances, especially at the major as well. His AWPing was on point. Seems like he's coming to this one, though, very cold. From what I've heard, these guys have been on holiday for quite a while. Like, they've actually taken a huge break for the Christmas season. Obviously, Luminosity, different school of thought there. They've just gone all in. They know they have to step up this year. They want this to be the year they can rise up and crack the top 5. And this is a great start for them. It's really impressive to see them actually take 2 maps, not even close games, really igniting start. Really impressive.
And you have to realize it is quite a while since G2 even played, even with this new lineup. IEM San Jose was quite a while ago now. We've had a bunch of events since then. And then on top of that, when they did play online, they played in that Road to Vegas E-League qualifier, and they lost to Dignitas, AZ's old team, who in theory got worse by downgrading. So it's been a while since we've had any positive signs for G2. And obviously, it is true. Of every match in this tournament, they've now got the easiest one they can play. So you hope that gets them back in their things, and then they can play whoever they play in the decider. But it's not looking right now like they're going to make an impact on this tournament. Obviously, the top 3 get out of each group, so they can still potentially get out of the group, make the playoffs. But when you consider how stacked the rest of the tournament is, this is going to be a tough field if they want to crack a top 4.
Touching back on the whole LGB roster torn apart thing that we talked about, I start to fear for them because it's a lot of the same issues we've seen. Leadership's always been an issue, but they've always had this incredible way of making it work. Kind of like Fnatic right now, where they relied on skill. They could walk in, they could win the duels. I start to wonder if this slump continues, how long this roster can grind it out. If they bring in a coach, or if that's it.
People aren't going to let top talent like Fox just wail away, showing off his great skills on a team like this when people need top tier AWPers.
Yeah. Obviously.
No, but the thing you have to realize about this team as well is, obviously, part of how they got this team together is they had the great backing, initially of Kingwin and now Gamers 2. But, I mean, you hear rumors behind the scenes, maybe this team's going to be going somewhere else in the future, so will they stick together anyway, or will they bring in a new player? Will a player go out to another team? Because one of the key things in Counter-Strike at the moment is the buyouts are so big for teams that actually have existing contracts that if any top-tier talent is available, especially if they're available as a team, you'll see big orgs come in and swoop in for them. So that's something where, for G2, obviously, they can't be looking at that right now. They have to get things back on track in this tournament. But going into the future, I still think there's a bright future for most of these players.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also the rumor where FaZe Rain, who's a COD player, tweeted, FaZe Rain 2.0 incoming, and there's been rumors that's where they might be going. Obviously, we're speculating at that point, but something interesting to note. I just get the feeling with them, it's all fine and dandy. Everything's great. They're all on a little high point where they're doing well, and then it didn't work. We started losing guys. We're done. I don't know. I just have this feeling with this team. I'm not sold on them yet.
It felt like the honeymoon period has never arrived for this lineup.
I would say Cluj, the current lineup.
No,
for
I'm
sure.
sorry. Yeah, in this current lineup, you'd expect when you bring AZ in, that's like the surge of thinking, oh yeah, we've got this great breath of fresh air. We're going to have a fantastic couple of months. That hasn't really happened. There hasn't been that honeymoon period. They're actually in a slump right now, it feels like, and this is just testament to that. And never really showed up in the best of 3 series against Luminosity. Obviously, we predicted that result, but I didn't ever think it would be in that sort of fashion. Like, there's 2 clean-cut maps, 16-5, 16-7. Like, what really happened there? Like,
at 16-8, 16-7, but good, fair point nonetheless.
You know what I mean.
Could have been even more dominant on train, though. I mean, you saw Luminosity in control. So really, you look at this game, the only bright spot is AZ got some kills. He did some work. At least he's in form. There's almost nothing else you can look at G2 and go, okay, that's positive, that's great in that sense. So at the moment, you look at them right now, and you feel like whoever they would play later in the tournament, if they played a Na'Vi, if they played, they'd lose to all these teams at the moment.
Yeah. On the flip side,
yes,
and I'm not talking about the team.
Then don't
LG looked really. I'm sorry, LG looked really good though. Is this? Are we talking about High Point LG right now? Are we talking about DreamHack Winter LG? Because they're going up against their nemesis next.
It's like I said, to me, the biggest positive was that they looked so convincing on train. Because I know already a couple of the maps. I know they've got Cash, they've got Mirage, they've got Inferno kind of in their wheelhouse. But once you start playing those elite teams like we're talking about, Na'Vi, TSM, or XTSM, Envious, Fnatic, some of these teams have really deep map pools. So in a format like this, remember, where it's ban, Should have said ban 4 times there. But anyway, you know what it would be like if I was to do it 1 by 1. In that sort of a format, we know you need to have the deep map pool. So if Luminosity can keep showing this, they can keep showing maybe this, or maybe they can show some cobblestone, then potentially they can match up against those teams. Because if you're in a world where you only have the 3 maps, you're in trouble against some of these teams.
Yeah, the good news is for them, even if they don't win to Na'Vi again this time, they're already into the playoffs because they're already one of the top 2 teams in the group. So now the battle is between Cybers and...
The good thing for us is the Na'Vi Luminosity matchup is always epic. Like, there's 8-1 still in maps, but every single match they play, if you remember, we casted like the semi-final match. Like, that was an absolutely epic game to watch. It was so back and forward. It ended like 16-14 both maps. It was crazy how much fun it was to cast. So expect, in terms of us and the viewership, that next game is going to be absolutely nuts. So that's going to be just a game to talk about anyway.
And obviously, even though the new lineup did play because they were at the ESL, ESEA, those first games we think of, I don't think those really count in the 8-1 anyway, because that was with the old lineup. That's before they got an FNX. We've seen he's had a big impact. He's had these crazy kills, had these clutch round plays. And then obviously Taco didn't really bring a whole lot different in that sense, but he brought a different dynamic to the team, because when you put in 40% of your lineup you're replacing, it's going to change the maps you're strong on. It's going to change the style of the team overall. So I don't think you can take too much of the past history there and make it like, okay, well, Na'Vi's like a clear-cut favorite to win all the maps here. It's always been close in the past between them, and I think, like I said, looking at the map breakdown at the moment, there's going to be a good matchup here.
Yeah, this is one that's extremely fun to watch. We're going to take a short break. We're going to head to commercials, and then we'll get ready for said matchup. Like I also said, though, just so that we're clear, there is a second stream that will be going on at the same time. We'll touch more on that. That will be the decider match on who moves forward to the playoffs and who bows out. It'll be Cybers and a G2 in that game. We'll see you in just a minute, guys. Thanks a lot.